about to enter a world of true crime. From cold cases to serial killers, missing persons, and more.
100% he did this.
I'd go off into fantasy world.
How much more lucky can you get that you're not on death row?
You want to know what we know.
My name is Jay. This is Guilty of Crime.
Hello, everybody. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm going to turn the sound up now. Welcome. Let's check out the chat. Hello, Crime Crew. We have a lot today. We have some people in here that I haven't seen before. We've got TS66, Love True Crime, and we love you. So, as we grow and as we get better, I want to let the Crime Crew know we only do this because of you. I love each and every single one of you, and we keep it positive. Today, I love my Watts Wednesdays because it's a terrible case, but we know it's solved. We can say that Mr. Watts is clearly guilty of crime. There's no kind of drama, just nice and chill. We know it's a case that was brutal. It happened. It's solved. And we can talk about it. So, hello, Ashley Valentine from Grizzly True Crime. You're just as great, and I love Gisela from Grizzly True Crime. Today, we're doing Mr. Deception Detective. We are doing we're doing a collab with him on his video, but we're also doing Watts Wednesday, which gives you more things that you may not have seen. I've got some special text messages from my one and only. You know her as Zap Girl. Yes, she approved it. By the way, if somebody hears in chat that sent me that nice email, thank you. Thank you for telling me that you've never seen anybody do what I do. My channel is called Crime News. I do collaborations, I do reactions, and I do, what do you, Sadie's mama says, here to listen. Thank you. You know, it wasn't a nice email that I got, but it was one that it actually made me feel better. It's like, I've never seen a channel do what you do. You take other people's videos, you react to them, you collab with them, we remix them. We play them over and over. Brenda, hello. You always have a great show. That was an honor for me. The only thing is, this person said they were going to be a whistleblower and tell all the creators what I'm doing. And I said, absolutely. I pray tonight that you tell every single creator about me. So let's hope today that everybody knows about me and the Crime Crew, because today I'm happy to be here with you all. Thank you, Unhinged Lady. You're super chill to listen to, and thanks for all your hard work. Well, you're welcome. It is a lot of hard work. Trust me, especially trying to tune out the bad messages that I get. Man, I don't know why there's so much hate. I love all of you guys, and I'm going to try to stay away from all the hate. But man, every day now, the bigger my show gets, the more hate I get. So you guys, I invite you all to be moderators in your own way. You might not have the wrench, but if you see people in chat saying something bad, tell them to go away. And yes, I wore purple today specifically for Miss Jess. All right, let's get this party started. Now, it's our kind of party because we're all true crimers. And what we're going to do, I'm going to start off the show first. It's kind of heavy. The DA is going to describe how Chris Watts unalived 4 people. All right, and we call it 4 people because it was. Nico was his unborn child, and when you have an unborn child, I still consider them as a person. Now, this video comes from Channel 9 News. They don't even let you download it. They only let you play it. They don't let you remix it. They let you do nothing. I thought it'd be important for you guys to hear what this man did before we get into some of the other things and have a little bit of fun. All right, this is serious stuff here. Let's watch.
There are no words to adequately describe the unimaginable tragedy that brings us before this court today. By my comments, I'm not even going to try to express the horror, the pain, or the suffering that the defendant has caused to these families, to this community, and to all who are a part of this investigation. However, I do want to spend a few minutes sharing with the court the details of the crime, as so far you've only had an opportunity to review the affidavit and a few facts here and there that have been offered to the court in the motions and pleadings that have been filed. The questions that have screamed out to anyone who will listen since August 13th of 2018 are why and how. Why did this have to happen? How could a seemingly normal husband and father annihilate his entire family? For what? These are the questions that only one individual in this courtroom or on this planet knows the answers to. I fully expect we will not receive the answers to these questions today, nor will we at any point in the future. I don't expect that he will ever tell the truth about what truly happened or why. Even if he did, there is no rational way that any human being could find those answers acceptable responses to such horrific questions. The best we can do is try to piece together some kind of understanding from the evidence that is available to us. And the evidence tells us this: the defendant coldly and deliberately ended 4 lives, not in a fit of rage, not by way of accident, but in a calculated and sickening manner.
Thank you.
Shanann was 34 years old. She had married the defendant in November of 2012. Over the weekend leading up to August 13th, she had been at a work conference in Phoenix, Arizona.
So we're only going to play about 8 minutes of this. I really think I need to make people aware. I saw someone in here say that they were maybe 15 when this happened. And yes, haters, gotta love them. That means you're impacting people, and I hope to impact those lives of others in a good way. I hope to, in between filming, help people feel better about themselves, help fathers reconnect with their daughters. I have lots of stories for you, and I'm going to do a live stream that talks about what I go through in my life and more about me real soon. So, gotta love them. Chris Watts is a sick monster, and I want you to know before we get into this video and we joke about things and we laugh about Nicole Kessinger that this is a serious case, and I never want to forget that because this case has impacted me. All right, so let's keep listening while I fix my audio. I've done some really cool things with my setup, guys. Just kick back and listen.
And returned home in the early morning hours of August 13th. We know that she got home about 1:45 in the morning. The doorbell camera on their home shows her arriving back home from the airport. Shortly thereafter, at least according to the defendant, they had what he referred to as an emotional conversation about the state of their marriage and about what their lives would look like going forward. What was said during that emotional conversation, only he knows. What we do know is that shortly after that, the defendant strangled her to death with his own hands. We know that he slowly took her life the morning of August 13th. We know that this was not done in an uncontrolled, vengeful manner that he tried to describe to agents from CBI and the FBI. If that were the case, you would expect to see vicious, horrible bruising about her neck, shoulders, and face. You would expect to see the hyoid bone in her neck broken. You would expect to see some kind of defensive wounds on his body as she struggled and fought for her own life. None of those are present. The only injuries that were on Shanann's body were one set of finger or bruising, what appeared to be fingernail or finger mark bruising to the right side of her neck. We know that our experts will tell us that it takes 2 to 4 minutes to strangle someone to death manually with their own hands. The horror that she felt as the man that she loved wrapped his hands around her throat and choked the life out of her must have been unimaginable. Even worse, what must Bella, age 4, and Celeste, age 3, must have experienced or thought is their father, the one man on this planet who was supposed to nurture and protect them, was snuffing out their lives. They both died from smothering. Let me say that again. The man seated to my right smothered his daughters. Why? Imagine the horror in Bella's mind as her father took her last breaths away.
We're not going to just sit here. We're going to be interactive right now. I'm trying to set some things up. There's people popping in and popping out. If you could, if anybody does any gifting today, if I can get to some gifting today, right now I'm in chill mode. I'm having you guys listen to actually what happened. And if you come in here, I see 46 and then 37. Just hit that like button for us. Linda Miller, you're amazing. Just gifted 5 guilty of crime crew official memberships. And thank you, Donna. I appreciate that. I'll smile for likes. There you go. All right. Anything to keep people happy and keep a good vibe going on. So welcome to the new members. Right now, as we play this, I'm working with, I just got some new Dolby audio. I got a near stream equalizer. I got a new setup, a higher chair, better lighting, all the above. So I just want you to know I'm doing this so I can bring a better show for you, and you can, listen to the best quality that you possibly can. Thank you, Bree. I appreciate that. I know we're listening to something heavy, but I want you to not feel so heavy in your day-to-day life and know that you have people that are here for you. You can reach out to. We're here for you, all of you. And I hope Jess comes on here. Thank you, Melissa. I wore purple for her today. So let's listen up to this. Welcome to the crime crew. This is an older case, so it's good to give a background. Some people may not have followed. Now, I'm already on part 3, crime and conspiracies. I'm definitely giving a background to this right now. I am, and I hope you're saying that that I am giving a background to the case, because that's what I'm doing with it right now, is letting people know what this man did. We're already on part 5 or part 4, something like that, of the Watts case. So I'll give you guys a brief background in a moment. Let's listen to this. If you haven't heard of it, give me a minute. Don't worry, I got you.
Your Honor, I understand very clearly. Bella fought back for her life. The frenulum, the connective tissue between her upper lip and her gum, had a 1.5 centimeter laceration. She bit her tongue multiple times before she died. She fought back for her life as her father smothered her. Celeste had no such injuries. In fact, she had no external injuries at all. But according to the medical examiner, she was smothered nonetheless. The defendant then methodically and calmly loaded their bodies into his work truck, not in a hasty or disorganized way. He was seen from the neighbor's doorbell camera, backing his truck into the driveway, going back and forth into the house and back out to the truck 3 different times, 1 time for each of their bodies. He then drove them away from their family home 1 final time, intent on hiding any evidence of the crimes that he had just committed. In 1 final sign of callousness for his wife, his daughters, and their unborn son and their remains, he drove them to a location that he thought no one would ever find them, to one of the oil tank batteries with which he was so familiar. He knew this was safe. He had texted a coworker the night before.
All right, so we will keep watching this. We're going to listen to this. We're going to listen to everything about the case. We've done lots of episodes, and yet don't worry at all about being in chill mode, catching us up. I definitely will. I had to slow down today. Everybody's wanting everything at all times about all cases, and we're making it happen. But today we're on chill mode, and we're doing it together. Thank you, Estara Garcia. It looks like you're a new member. I don't know if you won that, if you got a gifted membership, but thank you. A crime to remember. I'm friends with Shanann's cousin. She had so many things to say about Chris and his mistress. Oh, man. Crime to remember. I'd love to know about it sometime. I'd love to have you come on and we can talk about it. Just have a chill talk session. And I absolutely email me. Let me put my email down there if you ever want to do that. Please feel free to. It's a heartbreaking case that didn't need to happen, folks. And Melissa, we all love you every day. Patricia, awesome. Love your channel so much. You deserve all love. You know what? We all deserve love, everybody. We all deserve love, and we all deserve to be kind to each other so that this doesn't happen. All right? So we're almost done. We're going to listen to this man get sentenced, and then we're going to move on to the deception detective, and then I have a treat for you.
Saying, I'll head out to that site. I'll take care of it. He had carefully ensured that he would be alone in the middle of the plains to secrete away the remains of his family in a place that he hoped they would never be found. In 1 final measure of disrespect for the family he once had, he ensured that they would not be together, even in death, or so he thought. He disposed of them in different locations. He buried Shanann and Nico in a shallow grave away from the oil tanks. Bella and Celeste were thrown away in the oil tanks at this facility. Different tanks
Now I have to step in and talk about this here, folks. This really broke my heart, and I'm a visual person. I'm very visual. I'm a graphic designer by degree, and I'm just an artsy kind of person. And everything you tell me turns into a picture or an image. Now I don't know if he's about to describe this or not, and if you knew about this case, Mr. Watts, I shouldn't even call him Mr. Chris Watts, disposed of his daughters in the oil tanks, and they were only 8 inches wide in diameter, 8 inches. So he had to shove those little girls through the hatches, which means that their shoulders were compressed down. And when they pulled the bodies out, the oil, I believe it was hot, was already degloving. And just, I mean, I'm sorry I'm sharing this imagery with you, but you guys are true crime people just like me. You're the crime crew. And yeah, I definitely shouldn't call him Mr. Watts. We call him Chris Watts. We can call him the monster. Yeah, absolutely. He pushed him through that hatch that was 8 inches. 8 inches is not big enough for a small child, even. This was truly heartbreaking, and he literally did it for no reason. He didn't even have any meetings with Nicole Kessinger after he did it. It makes no sense whatsoever. There's absolutely no reason for this monster.
So these little girls wouldn't be together in death. Imagine this, Your Honor. This defendant took those little girls and put them through a hatch at the top of an oil tank, 8 inches in diameter. Bella had scratches on her left buttocks from being shoved through this hole. A tuft of blonde hair was found on the edge of one of these hatches. The defendant told investigators that Bella's tank seemed emptier than CC's because of the sound that the splashes made. These were his daughters. Significantly, when his coworkers arrived at the tank battery later that morning, to a person, they all described him as acting completely normally. It was a normal workday, even while his daughter sank in the oil and water not far away from him. And then his efforts at deception truly began. We've all seen the emotionless interviews that the defendant gives to the local media, asking for help in locating his family. We watched as he claimed that the house was empty without them.
Now, a big topic of our day today is talking about what lies are deceptive through words. And many of his words, the topic of today is the word like. Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger like to use like a lot. And we're going to describe together what like means when you use it in the way that it was used. Let's listen to this. Just think of this while we're watching this. Like is a verbal crutch. Just remember that, and I'll explain further after. This is from Mr. Deception Detective. Like is a verbal crunch.
And that he hoped that they were somewhere safe and that he just wanted them to come home. He told investigators that they were at home sleeping when he left for work that morning, and that Shanann had told him that she was taking the girls to a friend's house for the day. What is striking about this case, Your Honor, beyond the horrors that I've already described to you, is the number of collateral victims that he created by his actions. While he stood in front of TV cameras asking for the safe return of his family, scores of law enforcement officers, neighbors, friends, and family scoured the area, fretted for their safe return. They texted him begging for any information and sending him their best.
Now, this episode, even though it's called Watts Wednesday, we're getting into Nicole Kessinger next. We got a few more minutes, and then we're going to talk about her lies, what we think her involvement is, and you all can bash away because it's Watts Wednesday, and Kessinger is in the spotlight. Nicole Kessinger, we're going to call out her lies. We're going to tell you about her verbal crunches, and we're going to show you how the mood changes when she knows that her cell phone is going to be confiscated, folks. She's a liar. There's a lot more than a liar. I have a lot more words, bigger words than that, but that's what I'm going to say right now.
Wishes. All the while, he hid what he had done. The list of indirect victims does not end there. Think of the firefighters and the Colorado State Patrol hazmat experts who had to don protective suits and who were called upon to pull Bella and Celeste out of those oil tanks. Or the coroner employees who had to conduct these autopsies.
So sad.
Or the victim assistants who frantically attempted to ease the suffering of those affected.
Shanann's dad.
All of this, Your Honor, for what? Why?
Nothing.
Why did this have to happen? His motive was simple, Your Honor. He had a desire for a fresh start, to begin a relationship with a new love that overpowered all decency and feelings for his wife, his daughters, and unborn son. While Shanann texted the defendant over and over again in the days and weeks leading up to her death, attempting to save her marriage, the defendant secreted pictures of his girlfriend into his phone.
Yes, he did.
And texted her at all hours of the night. While Shanann sent the defendant self-help and relationship counseling books, one of which, ironically enough, was thrown in the garbage. He was searching the internet for secluded vacation spots to take his new love in researching jewelry. And while Shanann took the girls to visit family in North Carolina, the defendant went to car museums and the sand dunes with his new girlfriend. The stark contrast between the subjects of their internet and text content is absolutely stunning. Even the morning after.
That's going to lead us into the Nicole Kessinger video, her lies, her verbal crunches, and everything that's disgusting with none other than Deception Detective. We all love you. You'll see this on a replay if you don't catch us tonight.
After he killed them and disposed of their bodies, he made several phone calls. One was to the school where the girls were supposed to start, telling the school that the girls would not be coming to school anymore, that they were being unenrolled, presumably to give him some more time before law enforcement notification about them going missing. He contacted a realtor to start discussing the selling of his house, and he texted with his girlfriend about their future. None of this.
Now remember, folks, if you were on the last episode, I did give you a breakdown of the case. You know that Nicole Kessinger knew a lot more than she said. She acted like she didn't know that Shanann was pregnant. She absolutely knew. She knew when Shanann was on vacation and she had full reign of Chris Watts. She knew about them, and she texted or she Googled the family before they even met. So as we hear this and we see we see that it was not just Chris Watts. Think about the reason why he did this plea deal.
This answers the questions of why, however. If he was this happy and wanted a new start, get a divorce. You don't annihilate your family and throw them away like garbage. Why did
there,
Nico,
folks.
Celeste, Bella, and Shanann have to lose their lives in order for him to get what he wanted? Your Honor, justice demands the maximum sentence under the agreement reached by the parties. As you will recall, the agreement calls for life sentences as to Shanann, Bella, and Celeste, and all of those to run consecutively to one another. It also calls for the count of unlawful termination of a pregnancy as to Nico to run consecutively to counts 1, 2.
All right. So now we're gonna see that, and then we're gonna watch the despicable Nicole Kessinger, folks. Now, you know, and I know, and A Crime to Remember knows, and A Crime to Remember says I pretty much have the same feeling as her cousin. And I think we all have the same feeling that Chris Watts didn't have this idea alone. He probably didn't plan it alone. I'm sure they talked about it behind the scenes. And Donna English, you say she knew everything about them, and she absolutely did. As a matter of fact, in their very first email to each other, you know what she said to him after he flirted with her? She said to him, I'd like someday to have a family like you do. I'd like to have that with somebody, the wife and the kids and everything that you do. I believe she manipulated him more than a lot of us know. The point is, though, they didn't realize how much this case would blow up because LE handled it, and it was so shady. Absolutely, it was so shady. And you're going to see why when you see the Nicole Kessinger things. All right? So we're going to listen to his sentencing just because it's Watts Wednesday, and that's what I want to do today, is go over some key points with you. Don't worry, folks. I will not leave you hanging. I'm going to come back and do plenty more. I've got lots of content for you about this case. It's never ending, but we have to listen to him be sentenced because I want you to hear what the judge says. Hold on. This is not, I don't want to show you this yet. 1 second. Did I share it with you? No. Good. All right. Didn't share it yet. Let me make sure. All right. So we know, and while I'm doing this, I don't want to leave you hanging with just not saying anything. I'll put this up and then I'll tell you really quickly for reference when this happened, just in case for some reason you were 15, you watched it and you don't remember exactly what went down. So you can see Chris Watts there. And let me tell you this. He confessed and he made a plea deal right away. Part of his plea deal was to not have the family see all the pictures, not bring anyone else in, not implicate Nicole, and make sure that he fell on the sword. And I will not say that he was a man for that. I believe Nicole had him wrapped around her finger, fooled. I'm not sure if she, told him to do that, but I think he definitely got that idea from her, and you'll see as we get more. Nicole's a Jezebel. I don't like the word, but if I had to pick one, that's it. That's a very good one. Marissa says it's almost as if NK gets this big old high knowing a man killed the family to be with her. And I absolutely couldn't wrap this episode up any better than what you just said in that statement. She gets a high when you listen to her text messages at the end of this and you listen to them text messaging. I have 10 minutes of it. You guys are going to love it. It's what blew Zav Girl up. It's amazing. Zav, if you are watching this, I love you. Even though we don't collab together, I hope someday we can get back to doing some collaborations, and I appreciate you using that. But this is what blew up Zav Girl, and we're going to play that after. You guys got to stick around for this because Marissa couldn't have said it better. It's like Nicole was getting high off of everything she was telling Chris. She was playing him like a puppet, folks. I truly believe that, and I truly believe what Kim Princess says he covered for her and for what she massively screwed him over, even though he did do this, which is horrible. He wasn't alone. I agree with you. And I wonder if, yeah, dude, I like this. What a stand-up guy. Yeah, this guy, I don't even know what to call him and be civil on this channel. So let's just say that, and we'll have the emoji up there, okay? Let's listen to what the judge has to say about him, and then we'll get into Nicole Kessinger. I just want you to know what this man, who he is, Christopher Lee Watts. Shanann was pregnant. She was only 34 years old. They had 2 children. We have Bella, 4 years old, and Celeste, which they called Cece. She was 3 years old. Nico was in the belly of Shanann. Shanann was pregnant. I think they were about 16 weeks pregnant. All of this happened August 13th, 2018. So we're going way back, folks. We're not on Throwback Thursday. We're on Watts Wednesday. This is what happened. The method of the deaths were Watts strangled his wife and smothered his 2 children, folks. This is a definition of a family annihilator. Now, when he disposed of the bodies, he didn't even give Shanann a proper burial. He just dug a shallow grave right next to his oil tanks. And then you heard about him putting the children's body into the oil tanks, shoving them in through there. At first, he said he was innocent. And then after he was arrested, he ended up confessing. And what he confessed to was that Shanann hurt the children and therefore he hurt her. We're going to do other Watts Wednesdays. I'm going to show you. We're going to listen to some of his interviews from prison where he admits she had nothing to do with it, even though we know that the interrogators were using, I believe it's called the Reed method. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. It's the method to get the perpetrator to talk. And Dariana says maybe he was threatened by Nicole's dad and his friends and the higher-ups. Maybe they had to take the full fall because they didn't want any of Nicole's involvement. We have no idea. There's no traceable text messages or anything that we know of. Doesn't that suck? The whole thing's horrible. All of it sucks. I think that's why we're so fascinated with it, because it just doesn't make any sense that, first of all, he did this. And second of all, we have a person walking on the planet that just walked away from this. All right, listen to what the judge says. He's classy and harsh at the same time.
So the court has considered the arguments made by the attorneys. The court has considered the statements made by the victims in this case. The court's going to find that the plea agreement is fair and reasonable under the circumstances. I want to acknowledge the Rusick family as well as the Watts family that showing mercy on Mr. Watts is understood. And I respect that decision to request that the district attorney not seek the death penalty in this case. And so the court is going to accept this plea bargain under the circumstances. Words that come to mind when I hear the evidence in this case are a senseless crime and the viciousness of the crime. And equally aggravating in this court's.
Now, I know this is low, folks. It's as high as I can go right now. So you might have heard this before. I don't know. Listen up. I don't want to interrupt too much, but I want you to know that this judge is just as disgusted as we are. I hope you could hear as well as I do. I've got everything churned up. You can lower it after this. The sound gets better.
Determination is the despicable act of disposing of the bodies in the manner in which they were done in this case. I've been a judicial officer now for starting my 17th year, and I could objectively say that this is perhaps the most inhumane and vicious crime that I have handled out of the thousands of cases that I have seen. And nothing less than a maximum sentence would be appropriate, and anything less than the maximum sentence would depreciate the seriousness of this offense. So the court is going to sentence Mr. Watts as follows. With regard to count number 1, murder in the first degree as it relates to Shanann Watts, the court is going to sentence you, sir, to a life sentence in the Colorado Department of Corrections, followed with no possibility of parole. And that is going to run consecutively to all but counts 3 and 4. With regard to count 2, as it relates to murder in the first degree with Bella, the court is going to sentence you to life in the Colorado Department of Corrections with no possibility of parole.
Look at his face.
With regard to count number 3, the court is going to sentence you as it relates to Celeste to life in the Colorado Department of Corrections with no possibility.
I have to pause it just so you can look at his face, folks. I mean, there's no tears. There's no remorse. You can see the brow. You can see his brows. He's got like that little anger. It almost looks like he's angry. And I think absolutely, Linda, when monsters are found guilty, they should have to sit up and face everybody next to the judge. But hey, you know what? Faith and repentance. You brought up Sebastian. We're free to talk here how we would like. Adam Montgomery didn't go to any of his trial. He didn't show up. That's not a man. This isn't a man. This is a monster. And I agree they should be forced to not only attend, but they should be up to see everybody. But we just don't do that nowadays. I think we should have harsher sentences. This is not a harsh enough sentence. And Nicole deleted the message. We're getting to that. As soon as this is over, we're doing that part of the interrogation. It's a 5-part series. All right. She was hiding something, and I absolutely agree with you. That's coming up right after this.
Possibility of parole. With regard to counts 4 and 5 relating to Bella and Celeste as a different theory of first-degree murder, the court is going to sentence you to life in the Colorado Department of Corrections, and legally those sentences must run concurrently as a different theory of first-degree murder. Recognizing the unlawful termination of pregnancy for the unborn child that has been named Nico, the court absolutely believes that the maximum sentence of 48 years would be appropriate to run consecutive to the other charges, with an additional mandatory parole period of 3 years as set forth by statute.
He looks angry, folks.
Count number 7 as it relates to tampering with a deceased body, as well as counts 8 and 9, each a class 3 felony. The court is going to impose a maximum sentence of 12 years each for those counts to run consecutively to the other counts. The court is going to order that statutory fees be paid and court.
Something was wrong with the sentencing and something's wrong with this case. That's why we keep coming back to it, because we all know that we feel in our heart that the mistress was involved. We're getting on to that next, because I want you to see how she changes her demeanor and her verbal crunch. And this is coming from Deception Detective. And we are rock stars together. I would love to do a show with him. He doesn't do lives that I know of, and if he ever would like to, I invite you, Mr. DD, to do a live with me. And yeah, that's all I can say. But he knows that I do collaborations, and he's more than happy that we do it. So he does look checked out, but he absolutely looks angry. And yeah, I don't think he expected anything. I think he did think he was going to get that, and he didn't care. He was so wrapped up into Nicole. All right, let's finish it so we get on to Deception Detective, because that guy just gives me energy. I'm ready to go.
Prosecution, 91 days.
That's her
to file a
family.
Notice of restitution, and that will be the sentence of the court. We will shortly be in recess. I would respectfully ask the parties that you remain in your seat. There is a plan by the deputies on allowing people to exit.
Oh, sorry.
So please remain seated until.
Sorry, folks. The volume goes up and down, and yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. So this is what we have next. This is the main event. I wanted to let everyone come in here. I wanted to talk about about the background a little bit. If you watch the series, then you'll know that we've already got into, I think, 4 parts now. I'd have to look back. How to interrogate a suspect. I'm going to bring this up, and then I'm going to read you really quickly what Deception Detective said. I need you to remember, like is a verbal crunch. As a matter of fact, I kind of want to show you what he wrote. All right. I'm going to read it to you, but I also want to show you real quick, because it's kind of cool that he does stuff like this. He's a really cool guy. Everybody should go to his channel and check him out. He definitely is awesome what he does. Where is it? There it is. All right, check it out, folks. So this man, Deception Detective, he's got the deck. I bought his deck of cards. It's called the Deception Deck. Okay. It's got all kinds of things on it that teach you uncooperative subjects. It tells you how to spot deception. Explanations. Liars tend to offer explanations for why things happen, revealing their insecurity and expectation of disbelief. In contrast, honest individuals usually present facts straightforward, allowing the truth to stand on its own. If a story includes superfluous explanations, it might be a sign of deception. He's a smart man. I believe, DD, are you a lawyer? I think that's why he keeps himself in the background. All right, let me read this to you, and then we'll play it. This is why I'm doing a collaboration with him, because I think we work really well together. And here's what he said. All right. Deception Detective, you can see that, wrote, at the very least, like is a verbal crutch. Noticing how often it's used after a potential sensitive question can help detect deception. This approach is similar to how we flagged Kate McCann, you know that one, the use of honestly, and Jada Pinkett Smith's verbal crutch. You know what I'm saying. You know what a lot of people say, like, or you know what I'm saying, or honestly, but they're not being honest, all right? So then he goes on to say, it would be interesting if someone who has a YouTube channel and a deception deck, wow, I meet that criteria. Where's that whistleblower? Hold on. Where is she? Is that whistleblower in here? Are you in here? Where's the whistleblower? I really want her here for this. All right, Miss Whistleblower, if you're here, let's keep reading this, because I meet the criteria of this, guys. I don't think there's any whistles blowing. It would be interesting if someone who has a YouTube channel, I think he's talking about me, and a deception deck. Oh, wait. Look at that. Guilty of crime. Went back to my first analysis of Nicole Kessinger, where she was questioned about her phone, and observed whether she started saying like more frequently than when she was asked more benign questions about her job and her general relationship. And then he says, do you grok with the Hyatt's assertion? For example, I'm not really sure I think he mistyped it. We take notes of common phrase habits people use. For example, as being persuasive. you're going to probably hear her saying, you know, and you like, and all that. 'Cause that's why we're doing this. The speaker uses to assume the listener knows what they're talking about, to involve them in their deception. But it's also a verbal crutch. You learned a new thing today, verbal crutch. I could be wrong, but I don't recall hearing you talk about that type of habit. All right. So thank you, Dee Dee. We all love you. I think everybody on this channel now knows you and loves you. I love you. Everybody does. All right. Look at this. Wow. Greetings, Jay. Guam. Gone. I can't read that because I don't speak that language, but Pam, greetings to you. All right. J and DD live. Yes, it would be awesome. And sometimes DD comes in the chats. If you go back and you watch my other collaborations, he'll come in the chats and say hi to us. We love that man. All right. Let's get to it, folks. I just wanted to tell you that it's Deception Detective approved. All right. So if you want to blow the whistle, please blow it loud. My name's Jay Scott, guilty of crime. All right. Now we're getting to it. Hit that like button. If you're coming in, coming out, we have a show for you today. We just got get started.
Anything else you guys can pull?
Okay. Is there anything else you know of that could help us?
So this is an interesting statement here. He said, "Is that it?" And she says, "I don't have social media. I don't have anything else you can pull." Could she pass a polygraph? Yes. Like I said, 99% of the time, people will not bold-faced lie to you. They will not lie by commission. They will tell you the truth, but they will omit critical details. So for example, when she says, "I do not have social media," I believe her. But did she have social media 2 days ago? Did she have a Facebook account 2 days ago before she deleted everything with Chris? Did she have a LinkedIn account or a Telegram account? Or does she not consider Telegram social media? Maybe she doesn't consider those things social media, so she doesn't bring them up. So someone saying, "I do not have social media," does not mean that they didn't have it back at the time when they were communicating with someone who killed his family. What are some tricks that liars use to mislead? I'm Deception Detective. I'm an attorney trained in statement analysis, and this channel exists to expose.
All right. I used the wrong word. He's an attorney trained in analysis. We love him. I'm a fangirl of him. And Faith, you found the right channel. Anyways, enough out of me. I'm just going to listen, obsessed with children's cases. Children must be protected at all costs. Go to my channel. We do missing children episodes. We're doing Elijah Vu this week. I don't have it set yet. We're working on Maddie Soto. That's probably going to be one of the biggest cases of our entire lives here. And I can't say enough. I have a whole list of missing children. We did Summer Wells. We're doing Sebastian Rogers here. You're in the right channel, Faith and Repentance. Please come back. All right. Yeah, he is. All right. I'm going to shout you out to, what is it? Marissa MDG. Hey, okay, my generation born in the 60s in California. I am in the Bay Area, California. We all use the word like. I'm overly honest. This is totally untrue, aka Valley Girl. But Marissa, can I tell you something? You're not in interrogation, and I do use the word like too, and I'm in the Bay Area. And I do say honestly to a lot of people. I say honestly, if you want to know something. So this doesn't apply to good people like us. This applies to people when you're analyzing them for interrogations. So I love you. I'm a California girl too, born and raised. We're talking about doing an interrogation here and how to interrogate a suspect.
Lies and manipulation. Before we proceed, please hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. In today's video, we're going to analyze part of Nicole Kessinger's interview with the police. If you don't know who Nicole Kessinger is, she was the mistress of Chris Watts, a man who murdered his wife and children and buried them. And there's been a lingering question about what Nicole knew. Did she know of his plans? Did she help him plan the murders? Did she even participate in the murders? At the end of this video, I'll get.
Now, I think everybody in here, we have 96 people. I think you all think that Nicole is involved in this. If you think she's involved in this, put a 1. in the chat. Just put a number 1 in there and hit enter. I have some news for you on Elijah Vu. You're going to see something. I might push out my episode tomorrow and do Elijah Vu. It's either coming tomorrow or it's coming Saturday, but I got some new information on Elijah Vu. All right. Everybody's hitting that number 1. So you guys all think what I think.
Get into my opinion on all that, how to deduce the motivations of a liar, right? People don't always lie just because they're guilty. But first, we're going to look at techniques she uses to mislead and to hide information. Without further ado, let's listen.
Or may tend to prove that things that Chris told us were a lie. You understand that? And that's maybe going to...
So at this point in the interview, the interviewing officer is asking for her permission to go through her cell phone. So at this point, she's not under arrest. They don't have a warrant to search her phone. They're asking her to continue cooperating.
All right. This is the whole episode now. We're into the meat of it, folks. This is where the game changer happens. They're asking for her cell phone. Everything changes. Listen, if you haven't seen this before, you're going to see it now. If you've seen it before, watch it again. Watch how it gets analyzed. It's perfect, flawless, and we're everybody that says 1, you're all on track.
And give them access to her phone records to see any texts or any communications she had with Chris.
Yep.
Going a little bit far, I usually won't tell people that, but because of your reservations, that's what I'm looking for. If I can disprove something he's told me by a phone record, phone records don't lie. People do. Okay. So if I can disprove something that may be important, that's what I need it for. I'm not saying I can. Has it happened before? Absolutely. Is it critical in cases that I've worked in the past? Yes. So that's why I want it. Okay. Again, you don't have to give it to me. You can tell me I don't want you to have it. Go get a warrant. I'm not even going to tell you if I go get a warrant, try to get a warrant right now. I'm just asking for you to consent. And again, we can write right here what you're willing to give me, which is the text messages and the phone log. And unfortunately, again, the attachments on some of those text messages, and I'll write it on there and then you'll just sign it. Okay. Do you understand the questions there? Do you have questions about any of the things that it says? You understand you don't have to do this. You're doing it of your own free will.
Look at that. Long pause.
I know you're tired, so if you want to let your dad read it too,
Thank you.
that's a good idea.
Can you fill it out before I sign
Yep.
it?
And just you read it. And if you have any questions, then we'll put on there.
Unbelievable that her dad's even in the interview, folks. Unbelievable. All right, let's listen to this.
And what we're after.
Unbelievable.
Should have told me I would have got you some food. I got food in my car.
It's not staying down. It's just coming
She hadn't been feeling good. Not because of anything, just
Like I got sick prior to this
Jim.
whole thing happening, and then I think all of this compounded.
So right when it comes time to ask about the phone records and her signing of her permission to go through them, now we hear that she's sick and she's tired and she's hungry. Maybe all that is true, but the timing seems to suggest this might be a little bit of a manipulation tactic, right? To delay signing the papers, to make people feel bad for her, maybe the officer to go easier on her here. Either way, we should note it. This didn't pop up before. It's popping up right before we get into the phone records. So we're 30 minutes into her interview with the police, and now we're starting to get complaints when it's time to sign a paper. Let's note it. Let's understand that it may indicate sensitivity about the phone records. But also, if I asked you to give me your phone, you'd probably be sensitive about it as well, right? Even if you didn't have anything incriminating. So can't look too deep into it, but I am pausing to point it out just so you know that I also notice it.
And the fact that I'm sick, it's just not good. I've not really been eating or sleeping much at all.
yeah. I'm with you. We definitely need to accelerate the case because the more it takes, the less sure that they are of situations. But on the other end, I think if you do just that only,
You tell me what you're willing to provide to me, and we'll
is that
write
good
it.
enough?
I just want like our text conversation, and then I guess our phone call records.
So I'm going to put.
So the time and date of the phone call records, and then our text message.
Can we get photos of him?
Huh?
Could we get photos of him?
Off of
Would
that.
you mind if we got his photos that he sent to you?
Oh, well, they'll be in that text.
All right, so here it's interesting.
I'm muted. I want to stop as well. On this point, there's 111 people in here. That is a lucky number. I believe in angel numbers 111. Everybody make a wish. Stop what you're doing. Do you hear how this interview changed? Mr. Deception. Yes, Patricia, you caught that. You're on point. You're on fire tonight. Yes, she is. And you know what's funny, guys? We're sitting here, guys, ladies. My son just walked up and wanted to have a private conversation with me as I'm doing it live. He came in here with his beautiful self. He's 24, by the way. And he said, Mom, I need to talk to you. Can we have a private conversation? And I said, well, there's 110 people on right now. Can we do it after? I just thought you guys would get a kick out of that. So anyway, the son tried to rewind your live to see the name on the screen. Oh boy. Yeah, I love my kids. I'll stop anything for them. So we're listening to this man that wiped out his family, and I love my kids. I fought to have my kids, so I don't need a break. I just talked to him right now. He's gonna wait for me. Yeah, we have a good relationship. We see each other. He lives right down the street, but he wanted to have a private conversation while I was on a live stream. And who knows how many more people will see this afterwards. So let's keep going. I love my kids. That's all I got to say.
She wants to limit the search to text messages and phone calls. And if you're familiar with this case, she deleted all of that.
Yep.
I think earlier that day or the day before, right? I'm just getting caught up on this case myself. Or at least Nicole Kessinger's involvement in the case.
So DD Deception Detective invites us to collaborate because he's not a true crime person necessarily. He analyzes words and phrases. So he wants us to fill in the blanks with him and talk about the case, bring him in. He's big. He's a big community guy. I have a 24-year-old son and a 9-year-old daughter. I'm about to be 45, just so you know. I am old enough. I promise I am old enough. Crime and conspiracy. I'll be 45 in less than 2 months. So just so you know, 9-year-old and a 24-year-old, and I love my kids. They're my whole life. All right, let's listen to this.
Right, I'm familiar with the Chris Watts case in general. So she's trying to restrict it to text messages and phone calls. Right, she wants to write that on this consent form. Now, what does that imply? Maybe she communicated with him on other places and she's trying to dissuade them from looking at other places, like if they communicated through WhatsApp or some other secret texting app that people use when they're cheating on their wives.
A text message thing.
So all his photos were sent. There was no apps or anything else you used that you guys were sending. It was all just text messages.
Yeah,
Okay. So it'd be an attachment to a text that he sent you.
pretty much.
But
Everything is in the text.
All right, so now we have Nicole saying pretty much. And it looks like the officer is also keying into it.
Hey, wait, do you want me to get the puppy real quick? I can grab the puppy if you guys want. We have a brand new mascot. Yes or no? I'll go get the puppy. It's itty bitty. It's a Yorkie. You want me to stop? It'll take me a minute. Hold on. All right, here comes our new mascot. We have 2 mascots now, folks. Her name is Pieces, and it's Chill Wednesday, Watch Wednesday. So I will get back to this. I just want you to see the new baby. Look at this. This is our new mascot, folks. Her name is Pieces. You see how tiny she is? Reese's Pieces, folks. Her name's Pieces, but she's our newest Yorkie family member. And yeah, I thought you guys would want to see the new mascot. Let's look at her face one more time. Come on, Pieces. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Oh, you tired. All right, I love you. Say bye to everybody. Bye, everybody. I'll see you later. Thank you. All right, guys.
Bye, guys.
Now, back to the show. We love her. We have 4 dogs now.
What I keyed into, where because she's trying to limit it to text messages, right, SMS messages and phone calls, there might be some other app or avenue they were communicating, and he's trying to fish for that information. Were they communicating anywhere else? And he says, if you sent any photos back and forth, it would be as a text message. And Nicole says, pretty much. Pretty much is actually a sign of deception. And it's one of the cards in my deception deck. So if you haven't pre-ordered, you can order the deception deck at deceptiondeck.com. It's my 52 favorite rules for spotting lies and manipulation. And here we have weakening modifiers in the grammar suit. So the deck has 4 suits: deceptive words and phrases, deceptive grammar, deceptive cues, and different deceptive concepts. All right, so pretty much is a weakening modifier. And what does that mean? I'll just read you what is on the card. Phrases like kind of, sort of, and seem like, as well as pretty much, indicate uncertainty. Whether they are used correctly by someone being honest or misleadingly by someone who is lying, any statement following these phrases should not be automatically accepted as true or accurate.
Now, he's going to give us a little lesson on it, folks, and I want you to know that. That this language is not for us regular folks that aren't doing nefarious things, okay? Because I use it very often. I'll say, honestly, I just got a new puppy or something like that. So I don't want anybody to get offended by anything he says. We're talking about, he's an attorney, and when we're analyzing criminals, this is what we do. All right, let's go. Let's learn something today. I love learning.
So when it comes to Nicole Kessinger here, the detective asks her if there were any photos sent between you and Chris, would they be an attachment to a text message? She says pretty much.
Yes or no?
What does that mean? That she's not committing that those are the only ways they send photos. So the investigator here should dig deeper into that. If it were me, I would say, well, will you give us permission to at least examine any other apps with the capability of sending photos that might be on your phone or were on your phone, just to cover that, and then see if she squirms or not. All right.
Now, you absolutely nailed it too, Letty. These investigators are in dire need of rigorous training program. They let Nicole Kessinger run the show. She ran them and played them like a fiddle the whole entire time. This one, you see, though, she's getting defensive. It's very funny, and I don't know why her dad's there.
So pretty much, that's one of the tricks liars use to mislead, weakening modifiers. Let's get at least 2 more in this video.
A text and the phone call records.
So,
like all of it.
Because we don't have it on tape, we discussed prior to turning the tape on Tuesday, which would have been the 14th of August. You had read some newspaper articles on the 13th and the 14th that regarded this case. You had also had a conversation with Chris at some point during the day on Monday. And on Tuesday, because of what you found, specifically what you said was.
So they're calling her out now on what they read. If you look at her face, she looks surprised, thrown off guard. They're not doing a good job, though, but they are reading her text messages. And right before that, she deleted them all. And her excuse for deleting them was because she was disgusted with Chris and she didn't even want to see them. That's what she said. That's not believable.
And I don't let me put words in your mouth, but you found out that his wife was pregnant.
So here the investigator appears to be making another mistake in my book, right? I don't know his whole strategy here, so I don't want to judge him too quickly. However, he is putting words into her mouth, and I always call that out as an interviewing technique mistake, because once you start putting words into someone's mouth, now you've tainted the interrogation. You've put words in their mouth, and I'm not getting access to the words they would have picked. So, for example, they had a conversation off the record, which is unfortunate, where they talked about why she deleted all the stuff off of her phone relating to Chris. So off the record, she said that she deleted all her information on her phone regarding Chris Watts because she found out from a news article that his wife was pregnant, and that somehow compelled her to not want to have any contact with him on her phone any longer. Could that be true? Maybe. Could it be a lie? Maybe as well. But because it happened off the record and the officer is basically saying it for her, we're not going to see her own description of what happened. So I'm just pointing that out as an interviewing mistake to be aware of if you are ever interviewing someone.
Now, remember, this was 2018. If you look at, actually, in 2018, correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes they still, I think they had like the Blackberries. I'm not sure if they still have the flip phones or what, but everything wasn't in the cloud the way it is now. Everything's captured in the cloud, and you can't get away with deleting stuff. You remember Madeline Soto. You know the Madeline Soto case and Stephen Stearns, how he accidentally reset his entire phone. They still found probably almost everything. This was 2018. Technology has changed, folks. Everything's on the cloud. So if you're doing something wrong, don't do it. And also, while I was doing this, I don't know if you heard him. He came and yelled at me right now. So if you heard him in the background, he just yelled at me and made me pick him up. I think he got jealous. They all get jealous when you have new dogs, and I have 4 of them. So anyway, yeah, no bad dog mommy. I think I'm an awesome mom with my kids and my dog. So there you have it. Let's listen to this.
One, for example, for a job, or if you're an investigator or a psychologist or a 911 dispatcher. I know I have lots of professionals who deal with deception as subscribers to my channel. Always avoid speaking for them. And this investigator here even acknowledges that he's putting words into her mouth, right? So he knew he was making a mistake here.
And on Tuesday, because of what you found, specifically what you said was, and I don't let me put words in your mouth, but you found out that his wife was pregnant.
Yes.
And you did not know that prior. And you found that out via the newspaper articles, and that caused you.
She's lying right there, and we all know it now. Look at her face. She didn't learn it from the newspaper articles, folks. She was Googling, or looking, I should say Google, but she was looking at Shanann's Facebook almost the whole time, guys. So she was absolutely lying, and we know that now. Yeah, go get your dog. Come back. We'll still be here. All my dogs are amazing. I just got an itty bitty one, folks, and she really is itty bitty. This is Wesson. The new one's the size of his head. So you see his head? My other baby is only this big. All right, let's go. She's lying.
Concern.
All right, so he basically drip feeded all the information she needed to explain why she deleted his stuff off her phone. He fed her alibi. Could it all be true and correct? Yes. But I'd prefer to see her say it herself.
Well, I just realized that he was lying to me, and I was like, well, if you can lie to me about this, what else are you lying to me about? And it made me realize that maybe his wife was in danger at that point, and it was day 2 too, and she still wasn't home.
And this is why it's unfortunate that he drip fed her that justification for deleting the messages, because she is not a particularly good liar. For example, here she says, it made her realize, so she deleted all the stuff because she realized he was lying to her. And then because she realized he was lying to her, she realized his wife might be in danger. So what does she do? She deletes everything off her phone. That doesn't make sense. If you thought your boyfriend could potentially be a killer and might have killed his wife or might have done something to her, would you delete all the evidence of that off your phone if you were innocent?
Nope.
I don't think so, right? But again, I have to take logical leaps here that I'm not comfortable with because she hasn't said any of this herself, right? He drip fed her that entire explanation, but now she seems to have contradicted it a little bit here when she actually has a chance to speak for herself. If she actually thought the wife was in danger, why delete all the evidence that could help bring this guy to justice? For all she knows, she could have been his next victim. If he was really that dangerous, she should probably want him locked up.
She didn't, because she probably had a conversation or two with him about, hey, what would happen if your family was gone? What would you do if the family just happened to disappear? They probably had some weird conversations. I love Dee Dee's voice too. I love him, period. I can't say much about anything more than that. Great insight, folks. He nailed it right there. He doesn't need to know anything about the Watts case. All he has to do is watch her. She's got her arms crossed, her head's down, her body language says a lot. Her dad's watching her and he's helping her. And the investigator or the interrogator seems to be feeding her all the information she needs.
He killed his wife. What's to stop him from now killing her? Maybe he's a serial killer, but she deletes everything. Also, I'm just going to rewind. Notice when she explains it, she says, well, I just realized that he was lying to me. Just is a minimizing adverb. That is the second technique liars use to mislead. So I'll bring it up here. It's also in the grammar section. Minimizing adverbs. Words such as just, only, simply, and merely often indicate an attempt at minimization. Liars frequently use these terms to downplay incriminating details in context. So when you see the word just, be aware that the person might be trying to downplay something that you should be looking further into. So when she says, well, I just realized he was lying to me, maybe that's not entirely true. Maybe she realized a lot more than what she's admitting here, or she realized it earlier than she's telling us. So we need to be.
I do have a video, folks, of Nicole Kessinger before Chris Watts. She had a couple of little things on her record, but not much. But she did have some things on her record, and she's just generally not a good person. She's a manipulative person, and it shows right here. And Dee Dee is ripping her apart, and he doesn't even know much about the case.
Be attuned to the use of the word just.
What did that cause you to do with your phone, though?
Oh, what? When I deleted those? I was just kind of grossed out by him, to be honest with you.
All right, so I'm going to rewind. So listen to her justify herself here.
This is what she says, why she deleted her messages, folks.
He was lying to me, and I was like, well, if you can lie to me about this, what else are you lying to me about? And it made me realize that maybe his wife was in danger at that point, and it was day two, and she still wasn't home.
What did that cause you to do?
Right, so she realized the wife was in danger, so she deletes everything. Any potential help she might have been to the police to helping this woman. Does this mean she's guilty? Does it mean she was involved? Does it mean she helped him plan the murders? No. Right?
Yes.
But it is a small inconsistency from what probably the average person might do in that situation.
To do with your phone, though?
Oh, what? When I deleted those? I was just kind of grossed out by him, to be honest with you. I was just like, I don't know what's going on right now, but you just lied to me, and I don't want to see this come over my phone anymore. So I removed it.
So you already said, but you removed text messages?
I deleted all of his stuff because he lied to me. I mean, that's what it was. It was the hurt that made me delete it. And then it was the.
So notice how the officer asks her, so you deleted text messages, and she expands that to, I deleted all of his stuff.
Because
stuff could be any other apps they were using to communicate, right? So let's say they were talking to each other on WhatsApp or Signal or Telegram.
Now, I don't know if Deception Detective knows this, but they were also talking on the app that looks like a calculator. So Chris Watts had this app that looked like a calculator. So you go into the app and then you could text people from it, and it just looks like a calculator. So that includes the apps that he's talking about. It could have been any of them. Gone, folks. So she could have been behind a lot of this and manipulating him and saying, do you suppose if your family was gone, we could be together? How about if they just went away? Maybe she suggested things to him. We don't know.
Right. One of these other communication apps that are encrypted that someone would probably be more likely to use if they were cheating. Right. One that someone can get access to. And one that if this was a work phone, I know that they both worked at the oil company Anadarko. If their work provided them with the phones, it'd be much more likely they would use an end-to-end encrypted service to communicate, even if it was just, raunchy sexting or planning a murder. So when the officer asks her, so you deleted all the text messages, she is being true when she says, well, I deleted all of his stuff. But stuff can mean text messages, emails, WhatsApp, right? I deleted WhatsApp off my phone. I nuked my Signal correspondences with him.
Listen, folks, she was hiding it on her side too. If you go back to my last episode, she had her buddy come over. I don't know, what was his name? Tom or Bob or some crazy name. The police wanted to talk to him because he was there the day that the family went missing, and they wanted to bring him in to give her an alibi. And she said that he didn't even know about their relationship. He did not know that she was dating Chris Watts. And I feel like a lot of people didn't know that she was dating Chris Watts. So absolutely, if someone has that app on a calculator, then they have to communicate through that to another app that's similar or the same. You both have to have an app that's compatible. So yeah, they were both hiding it. She was dating a married man that had 3 kids, 2 there and 1 on the way.
But she puts it all into stuff. And maybe down the road, if they find out that she did have those apps on her phone, she can now say, hey, I told you I deleted everything. It's not my fault that you assumed I was only referring to text messages. Right. So this is another way liars lie, with vagueness. 99% of the time, if someone's trying to trick you, they will do it by omitting information, by leaving stuff out, not by telling a direct lie. Right. So it'd be a lot harder for her to say, yes, I only deleted all of our text messages. Everything else is still on the phone. Right? That
Thank you. I couldn't even remember his name because he was so irrelevant. She had Jim over her house, and she didn't want Jim to be in the investigation. She didn't want them to talk to Jim. Jim was a family friend. He was there. He was in town, and he was there the day that Chris Watts' family went missing. Okay, so he didn't know about their relationship either. So she was hiding it from a lot of people. I mean, wouldn't you be ashamed if you were doing that? You were dating somebody's husband that had 2 kids, one on the way. And remember, they were openly married. It was a big deal. Facebook, oops, we did it again. She was pregnant. She showed the world. They were on there all the time promoting Thrive. It wasn't like it was an undercover marriage. The whole world knew about it.
would be a lot more reliable of a statement. But if she had deleted other apps, it would be a lie by commission. She would be telling us a straight up bold-faced lie. It's a lot easier to say, yeah, I deleted everything that I had to do with them, and then hope that the officer assumes that that only refers to text messages. Right? So if you're interrogating someone about whether or not they communicated with someone on their phone, and they say, well, I deleted everything. I deleted all our stuff. You should ask follow-up questions. Well, was texting the only way you communicated? Or were there other apps you used? And if so, did you delete those apps too and the conversations on those apps?
Bad job. They did.
The lie that made me start questioning everything else he'd been telling me for the last few days.
And that's when you decided to come forward.
Yes.
Okay. So just for context,
Yes.
when people delete stuff off phones, usually we go,
No,
hold on a
no,
second.
no. It
And
wasn't
that's why I wanted
malicious at all. It
and I'm
wasn't
not saying
malicious
it's
at all. He lied to me. It just hurt. Like I had never felt like he'd ever lied to me before.
And then another point about this interviewer, when someone does delete evidence, my policy is I always assume the worst. Right. So anywhere I've worked, for example, at a personal injury firm, when we send out discovery requests or requests for information or interrogatories, right, let's say someone had a video camera on the property and they don't provide that, right? Or they don't send pictures if they have pictures of the crime scene, or they refuse to provide something that we're asking for when we're asking them to cooperate. Then the automatic response is, well, if you don't provide it, I'm sorry, I have to assume the worst. Otherwise, provide it to me. And then you'd be surprised how many people actually cough up stuff that they withheld. So when it comes to Nicole Kessinger, I maintain that same policy. She deleted everything off of her phone, so she just gave up her benefit of the doubt. I have to assume the worst, that she either encouraged him to do it or helped him plan it or was there. At least that's what I would tell her.
I don't know why they're so easy on her. All I can suspect is that people are right and that her dad had ties to law enforcement, and they actually, that we know of, didn't find any text messages that coincide with Chris that were planning the annihilation of his family. So not only that, he crumbled within the second day the family was gone. He took a lie detector test, he failed, and then he confessed. After he confessed, he made a plea deal, went to court, got sentenced, end of story, all done. Nothing came out about her. The world hated her, but that was it.
Because if you do that, it's more likely that she might rack her brain and say, hey, you know what? Actually, we used this other app, which I can re-download onto my phone. It has our conversations. And it will show you, we were just talking about moving in together. I wasn't helping him plan anything. So I would actually hold that against her, whereas this interviewer seems to be writing it off. And that might just be part of his technique to make her feel at ease, to get her to sign the papers. So there's different techniques, different approaches people can use. I prefer an aggressive approach.
Before, and it was a big lie. I mean, telling somebody that you're in the midst of a divorce and then you have a wife that has a 15-week-old baby on the way is a huge, huge thing. And I was very taken back, and it was hurt. And so at that point, I deleted it. I had a few more quick things to say to him, and then I just got rid of him. That's literally what I did. I just cut him out of my life. It would have honestly been like a bad breakup kind of thing. Like if none of this other stuff would have happened, that's what.
All right. So he's
probably going to call out that I literally just did that. And I don't think any of us buy this at this point, that she did that because she was hurt. Because guess what, people? She knew the entire time that he was married. She went to the house. She went to his house where there was family pictures all over the famous Watts house. the whole family existed there. There was a giant house that he lived with his family. She saw them on Facebook. She knew about it. She was jealous, and you'll see in the text messages later on, she did want the family gone. I'm not saying that she told him directly, hey, get rid of your family, but she's a manipulator.
She says it would have been honestly like a bad breakup. Would have is a discrepancy verb. So this will be the third
Yes.
grammatical tool you can use to spot, when someone's trying to mislead you or lie to you. And I'll just
It
read
was
you what I have on the
closed.
card for that one. Words such as would, should, and could indicate hypothetical situations rather than literal ones. Liars often use these terms to mislead without directly lying. So here, where Nicole says it would have been like a bad breakup, she's not telling us that it was like a bad breakup.
Now, unfortunately, you can't have an appeal when somebody takes a plea deal. So that's what happened. Plea deal, case closed. They never investigated again. Doesn't matter what tips came in. It doesn't matter that they saw her cell phone pinging at 6:15 a.m. in the morning by the Watts house. That was it. And yes, the detective likes her way too much. I almost feel like he's entranced by her and he thinks she's pretty. I'm not really sure. It might be a friend of the dad's. I'm not really sure what's going on, but it's whatever's going on is not good.
Big difference. What she did would have been like a breakup. She's not telling us it was a breakup. So we can't assume that this was her giving him the silent treatment, they're broken up and they're done. Maybe they did continue to communicate on some other tool, on some other app. We can't discount that because she hasn't said affirmatively texts were the
All I can say is Watts Wednesday, folks. We have more coming. There are a lot of things he says about her when he goes to prison, and there's a 5-page letter, and there's an entire book that was written that I have a copy of on a PDF that I want to read to you on another Wednesday. And he talks about her. He was very entranced, and I think he thought he was in love with her. So there you go.
only way we communicated. You're welcome to look at all of them, and I have them all here for you. Instead, when the officer asked her, so I can find his photos on texts, she narrowed it down. And then when they discussed other avenues of how they communicated, she expanded it, right? I deleted all of his stuff. So it's still nebulous and unclear to me whether that is literally the only way they would have sent photos and communications. Then on top of that, you have her deleting everything, which to me is a sign that someone just gave up their right to the benefit of the doubt. Does it mean they're guilty? No, of course not. But now I'm going to treat them a lot more skeptically. And if I were to interview her, I would be a lot more aggressive. I'd be doing a lot more bluffing than this officer is doing here.
He's not even bluffing. I'm not really.
That's what it would have been. That would have been the end of it.
The information was not destroyed because there was anything in there that would be harmful to you or potentially to Chris at this point, but harmful to you in particular. That's not what you did. You did it out of.
Right. So once again, he's putting words into her mouth. All she said was it was not malicious. That's the only new word she's introduced into this conversation. Now he's supplying her with all the other proper responses to explain away, deleting everything, nuking all of her conversations with Chris. On top of that, we also have this small discrepancy of her saying, well, he lied to me, which A, caused me to delete everything, but B, also caused me to wonder if he killed his wife. I feel like the average person, if they suspected their boyfriend of killing their wife, as I said, would not delete all the evidence, especially if that evidence could exonerate them. If she knew this guy was lying to her, manipulating his wife, might have killed his wife, and she could prove she had nothing to do with it, with those text messages, that is a reason enough to keep them despite thinking that he's gross and disgusting. So the story does not add up, but as I will cover at the end of this video, there are different.
Remember Amber Fry, everybody, Scott Peterson's mistress. Scott Peterson's mistress went to the police. She showed him all the text messages. She recorded the conversations, and she helped get him convicted. That Amber Fry was a game changer in that. She was a game changer in that case. Everybody, people were still giving Scott Peterson interviews and sympathizing with him to a degree about his missing wife and missing pregnant wife. And then Amber Fry came in and the whole world changed against him. And they all heard the calls. This is what she didn't do. And I think there had to have been some things in there that she didn't want them to hear.
Reasons for lying besides being guilty. So I haven't made up my mind about her yet. But just bear that in mind as I talk. Just because I'm anti her lying, and I do think she's lying, does not mean I think she had anything to do with the murder. Doesn't mean I think she's innocent either, right? Just bear that in mind. I'm only a few minutes into analyzing her talking. So we've caught some deception, but deception does not always equate to guilt.
Anything in there that would be harmful to you or potentially to Chris at this point, but harmful to you in particular, that's not what you did.
No,
You did it out of, excuse my language, this guy's an asshole, so I'm getting rid of him and I'm getting this stuff off my phone.
That was like me kicking him out of my life. And then, like I said, and then realizing that he lied, that was when I was like, okay, maybe his family is in danger and they're not coming back and they're not staying with a friend.
Right. So whenever she has a chance to talk for herself, it's a lot more revealing. Right. So we have the officer saying, well, you blocked him because, hey, this guy's an asshole. Right. He basically fed her an entire explanation. But when it was her turn to talk, she seems to be contradicting herself. Right. Once again, she says, well, he lied. So that made me realize his family might be in danger. She knew he had a wife and 2 kids. If she really thought they were in danger, would her first reaction be to delete all the messages? Maybe so, right? Maybe she's narcissistic.
Now, this is definitely something that deception detectives honing in on. I think we've talked about this 3 separate times in this interview. They keep going back to her deleting the messages, and the cop keeps feeding her the same information as to why she did it, and he's validating why she did it. So now next time when she's in another interview, which she's in several different positions at different interviews, now she knows exactly what to say, why she did it, and what gets her out of that predicament as to why the messages were deleted. And she's free and clear, folks. She's in a whole new life right now.
She doesn't care at all about helping the police find the little girls and find the wife. She's just looking out for herself and doesn't want to be embarrassed. So it's cutting him off, deleting any conversation so that there's no way she could be embarrassed in the future. And that's why it's nice to take an approach with these sorts of people, right? Okay, that's fine. You can delete it. You're welcome to delete all the evidence. You don't have to furnish anything to me, but just know that I will assume the worst now because you deleted it. So you're going to have to overcome that obstacle with me. So start thinking of ways that you can prove to me you weren't involved. Otherwise, I'm treating you as suspect number 1. Right? And put them on the defensive, but that's not what is happening here.
Did Nicole Kessinger laugh in this case? I can't tell. Patricia Ross, if you're still here, let me know if Nicole Kessinger laughed or if we're just talking in chat. Sometimes people catch me talking in chat to people and I'll laugh about something because I'm looking at my phone or I'm looking at something, but I'd never take these cases not seriously. We do true crime. Some things are heavy. Other times they're just, we're sitting here calling out a liar. And I definitely like to give good vibes, smile at the audience. So I don't remember her laughing. But if you thought I was, I definitely am not laughing at this particular case. I'm laughing at how terrible of a liar she is. And I don't understand why that's even happening. Why this interrogation is happening the way it is.
Yeah, when did I go over there? Tuesday morning?
Wednesday morning.
Wednesday.
I called you Wednesday morning.
That's when we started discussing. You guys need to get everything that it just.
You can understand the importance of.
No question. We were.
Like I said, people lie, phone records don't, and they really help specifically establish dates and times.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a very good grip on that in this case already, but there may be a time when we go, we need to know something else, and then we would have it. We don't want to lose it. And that's really what it is for us, is if we lose information that later on we go, man, I wish we would have got that. And we may never even look at them. But if we have it now, then we don't worry about losing it. So I appreciate you being cooperative and giving it to us.
But do you see what he's telling her? He's feeding her this information. He's telling her she's being cooperative, even though she's absolutely not being cooperative. All she's doing is sitting there and talking to them, listening to what they're saying, and then she's giving the answers that they want to hear. She deleted the messages, and everything she's saying is just a lie. Now, I am covering the Scott Peterson case. I have a couple episodes on Scott Peterson. We're covering his appeal. He has a pretrial hearing coming up. Amber Fry is the key to that case, and I wonder if she's going to be back. Look out for that, folks, because that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
So the first thing I wrote was text messages between Chris Watts and attachments. Okay. So, because we're talking about the photographs, unfortunately.
Yes.
That caused you much disdain. And then I am going to put phone log for calls between.
Okay, I just heard that, folks, and the detective was just giggling. I don't know if he's entranced by her, but he giggled at it, and he's telling her what he's doing in the investigation. He's telling her what he's doing with the phone logs. He's telling her how he's coding it. He's giving her all the details and all the keys to this to tell them whatever she wants to tell them. Unbelievable.
Yourself and Chris Watts. Your phone number is 720.
Right. And here is the consequence of all the deceptive tricks. Right. It has all paid off. If she did communicate with Chris another way besides text messages. Now we have the officer filling in the form, restricting what they're going to search for on her phone, and has been restricted to text messages, photos attached to text messages, and the phone log, right? The calls they made. Now they are not going to search beyond those parameters. She has not consented to that. So if she had used any other apps and deleted them, they're not going to look for that. They're not going to investigate for that. And all of this is the consequence of 3 grammatical deception techniques, right? 3 very simple things. Minimizing adverbs, right? We just texted, right? Or I just realized. So minimizing adverbs, weakening modifiers.
I love all you folks that are here today. We're on Watts Wednesday, and I got to tell you, it's interesting that we're all listening and we're learning something right now. We're not just sitting there and just being dumb and doing stupid things and not bringing real content to true crime. We're learning. We're doing it together. Everybody's being so nice and so kind. We're all loving with each other. And this is why I started the channel, because of this. Now, with all these new cases, it's a lot heavier. Now, when I'm doing Madeline Soto or Sebastian Rogers or Sade Robinson, man, why can't everybody be like you guys today? I love every one of you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for learning with us, and thank you for just being who you are. Welcome, Crime Crew and Patricia Ross. I hope you become a Crime Crew official soon. Maybe you'll get a gifted membership.
Right. So I kind of only texted him, or we pretty much just texted. And finally, discrepancy verbs, right? Would, should, could. Right. I would have texted him, or we could have only texted each other. Right. So those aren't all direct quotes from this. Right. She used all 3 of these things, but not precisely that way. But the ways that she used them did pay off if she had communicated with Chris a different way, because it has convinced the officer that those are the only avenues he should search down. Whereas if you look beyond those words, she never said precisely that the only way they communicate or send photos was text messages.
Guess what, folks? That's the key, text messages. After this video, I have 10 minutes of text messages, and I'm going to so kindly read them to you. They're all visual. Nobody read them. Zav girl she did the pleasure of putting them up, and I'm going to read them to you. There's 10 minutes of text messages from her phone to Chris. And again, this is what blew up Zav girl. Zav girl now has 100,000 followers. And hey, it's well deserved when you put that kind of time into true crime. I love you too, Patricia Ross. Please keep coming back, because we love people just like you. Everybody should just love each other. There's no reason for us to not like each other, guys. Ladies, people.
As far as I'm concerned, the possibility is still open that they used a different app to communicate, right? Like Facebook Messenger or Signal, Telegram, any number of apps. So you must be aware of that, right? That is how liars and manipulators mislead. It can be as simple as the grammatical constructions they choose to use. And those 3 are in the deception deck, as well as many more. And if you have binged all my videos, any concept that is in this deck is free here on the channel. You do not have to order the deception deck to get access to all these different techniques that liars use.
But we want to order it because we love you.
All right, let's keep listening.
656 9605.
And this right now is located we're at the Thornton Police Department. It's going to be moved to so this is kind of, doesn't make sense, but we're here. It's going to be moved to the Color Bureau.
You know why it doesn't make sense? Because she's a liar. Jan on the Lamb. I haven't seen you here before. You might have been. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope Summer Wells is in your sights. Summer Wells is absolutely in my sights. If you're new to the channel, go back. We did a Summer Wells episode last weekend. It might be 2.5 hours. It's a pretty long episode, but it's well worth the watch. You are terrific. You are terrific. Please go back. If one of the moderators could drop the link to the Summer Wells case, please do. You will not be disappointed. I guarantee you. Thank you for the super chat.
Investigation. He's going to download it here, but I'm going to take it with me, just so you know. It's not staying here.
Okay.
They're not going to retain any of this. This comes with me. Okay.
Is there anything else you want on there? I think that's about.
That's it. I mean, I don't have social media. I don't have anything else you guys can pull.
Okay. Is there anything else you know of that could help us?
Of course not.
So this is an interesting statement here. He said, is that it? And she says, I don't have social media. I don't have anything else you can pull. Could she pass a polygraph? Yes. Like I said, 99% of the time, people will not bold-faced lie to you. They will not lie by commission. They will tell you the truth, but they will omit critical details. So for example, when she says, I do not have social media, I believe her. But did she have social media 2 days ago?
Right.
Did she have a Facebook account 2 days ago before she deleted everything with Chris? Did she have a LinkedIn account or a Telegram account? Or does she not consider Telegram social media? Maybe she doesn't consider those things social media, so she doesn't bring them up. So someone saying, I do not have social media does not mean that they didn't have it back at the time when they were communicating with someone who killed his family.
Email me.
I've only watched a little bit past here, so I'm curious if the officer will pick up on that. But if I were sitting there, or if you've binged all my videos, if you're a member of my channel or a subscriber, that shouldn't work on you. You should follow up and say, okay, I understand you don't have them now. Did you have any social media accounts 2 weeks ago? No? And if she says no, okay. Did you have any other communication apps? Have you deleted any apps in the last 2 days? That would be an interesting question. And then you could also bluff. Have you deleted any apps in the last 2 days? Because we can always search for that on the phone and see what apps you deleted within the last 3 days.
Yes, make sure you pay attention to the tense that you use. And if you're interrogating someone, or if you're using it in everyday life, you got a cheater for a boyfriend or a cheater for a girlfriend, make sure you use the right tense, folks. Make sure you say, did you have that? Did you do that? Not, are you doing that now? Because they're not doing that now because they're with you right now. They don't have that app right now because they deleted it because you caught them. So remember that. And also remember, when you're interrogating somebody or you're trying to get the truth to somebody, when they're using a person in the past tense, then they know what happened to them more than likely. When you're saying, like Madeline Soto, when you talk about, oh, it's all over. She was such a good girl. We miss her so much. Well, what do you mean? I mean, how do you know she's gone? How do you know she's not coming back? In one day, how do you give up? So pay attention to people's tense, past tense, present tense, and what you're asking and how you're asking it. This will teach you a lot. It will help you in your everyday life.
And let her start trying to prove her innocence. So the tack the police are taking here seems a little bit too casual for me. And it also does Nicole a disservice. Because if she actually is innocent and is telling the truth here, none of her claims have been verified sufficiently. Right? So she has not proven her innocence, but then again, the police haven't really investigated her properly. I would like them to ask her, have you deleted any apps in the past 3 days? The other notable thing here is she brought up social media on her own, so clearly it was on her mind, which makes me think that she might have been communicating with him on social media 2 days earlier. But then she deleted that when she deleted all of her conversations with him. So just note.
Now, guess what, everybody? You guys know that if you're not a Facebook user or you're not an Instagram user, you can't look up people's stuff. So if I was to go on there and try to look up Shanann, it would make you sign up for it. You can't just go on. You have to at least make up a fake user. So she's absolutely lying. And someone just said that Jim was a Facebook friend. I believe that because they were childhood friends, family friends, and long distance friends. Thank you, Charlotte Salazar. It's okay you're coming late. You could be in the rewatch crew, but we're here. We're still here. And it says, how do I join? I'm going to drop the link. Or Bree, can you drop the link? If you could drop the link in chat, there's a link and you could join the channel and become part of the Crime Crew Official. You will not be disappointed, I promise. We have so much content. now, and we have content coming that you don't want to miss. I promise you don't want to miss it.
Notice the tricks that liars use. They can speak in very specific ways to keep you focused on what they're trying to direct you to, right? Okay, she said she doesn't have any social media. That's not the same as saying she didn't have social media 2 days ago. Or they can be very broad and vague, right? Okay, she said she deleted everything she had with Chris when I asked her if she deleted the text messages. But that overbroadness could also encompass any other apps they use to communicate. Right, so if the officer did press her on if she had any other apps, it wouldn't be a contradiction with what she said earlier. She could say, yes, I told you I deleted everything I had with them. So yes, I did delete my Signal account that I had 2 days ago. But as I already told you, I deleted everything I had with them. Right? Liars can be very.
Can I tell you a fun fact real quick? Their relationship started out on email, and it started out in their work email. She emailed him about something. I'll get the correct exact facts, but I believe she emailed him about something about work. He emailed her back, and then he said that she's beautiful and gorgeous. And then she emailed him back and said, actually, we should keep it as friends because I'm looking for something that's like what you have. I'd love to have kids in a family. It's very hard to find. And then after that email, they're both work emails from Anadarko, folks. He gave her his work cell phone number and said, call me anytime. Don't email me anymore because I don't have good reception out in the field, but you can text me. And guess what? She started, and that's how their relationship started, by Anadarko email. After this happened, she was fired from Anadarko, just so you know, FYI. And thank you, MK, for becoming a member. I love you, and so does the crime crew. Keep on coming because you won't be disappointed. I promise.
Very tricky. You have to really listen closely.
With this, the week that is not on the sheet,
As far as like data,
that's on your phone.
No. I mean, everything we did was like text and talk, pretty much. I mean,
There we go again, pretty much.
I knew he was going to say that. Pretty much. She was fired because there was too much information that was brought to, too much attention that was brought to Nicole, and that was going to Anadarko. Not only that, she was the mistress of Chris Watts, who had put the little girls in the oil hatch, buried Shanann in a shallow grave, and there was a cloud of suspicion around her. So they let her go. That's why she was fired. They couldn't keep her. That would have been a dark cloud over their company.
Pretty much is not the same as saying everything we did was talk and text. Everything we did was talk and text pretty much means that that's not all you did. Maybe there was another way they communicated.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, any pictures that I had, like even if you were to restore all my regular photos, there's so many pictures in there and you wouldn't even know which ones were for him and which ones weren't. But any picture that I wanted to send to him, I sent via text. So if you guys go through the text and the attachments, you will have everything that wasn't said verbally and was done via text. But I think that's it. Like I don't have anything else. As far as like no Facebook, no Instagram, no Twitter, no LinkedIn, like none of it. So
Right? None of it. Now, though, present tense. She didn't say I've never had any of those. That would be a totally different statement. Like I said, I haven't watched this far, so maybe the officer will ask her that.
So there was never any of that kind of correspondence. So I think that should probably cover everything you guys will need.
Is there any particular messages that would help me so I don't have to look at, because whatever's on your phone?
How do you get to be in the interview where someone annihilated their entire family and tell them that? I think that pretty much wraps up everything. I didn't have social media, or no. I don't have social media. There's no other communications. I deleted everything. We're all done. James McLean. I love when I have these awesome men on my channel. There's a lot of women in here, but I love when I get men in here that are really cool. Keep coming, guys. Keep coming. We love you. Just like Deception Detective. I think Anthony Brown said her name was gone of her door at work on Wednesday. Gone off of her door on Wednesday. Yeah, I believe so too. The news, the media was trying to hit up Anadarko, and they didn't want that. You can't have that at a company. You can't have something like that. As a matter of fact, I'm not even sure if they're still in business. Let me know. That was a terrible, terrible thing to have 2 little girls' bodies in the oil wells, and then Shanann being buried right there. So if somebody knows, let me know. I don't even know if they exist. I can find out for the next episode. We have plenty of time.
I don't know how long we're going to get back to, but let's say is there a particular date or time or message that stands out to you that would be relative to specifically to the investigation into this case that might assist me in understanding why something like this could have occurred?
I'm still in shock that this whole thing happened.
I
Like
can imagine.
I like that's why I gave him the benefit of the doubt.
So
I'm
notice
sure
the
you
officer
are.
asked her a question and her response is, I'm still in shock. That's a non-responsive answer. Stuff like that should not be allowed to slide. And on the witness stand, if she were being cross-examined, believe me, an attorney would not let that slide. Right, Your Honor, objection, non-responsive. Ma'am, please answer yes or no.
Out for the first day because I was just like, no way. Like I didn't even think about that. I mean, murder was not on the top of my mind when somebody doesn't come home for an evening, especially.
So now,
Murder is not on the top of her mind when someone doesn't come home. She changes her story many times throughout this interview, and it's not this particular one. We have multiple interviews. Many times she says many different things about what she thinks. She thinks the family was out. She wasn't scared, and another time she was scared. One time she says she couldn't sleep all night. Anna Darko is no longer there, and I can't imagine why. Thank you, Donna English. I love you guys. You're so awesome tonight. If I don't get any hate emails tonight, that will just make my day even better. Every night now I get a hate email or two. What are you going to do? Gotta love to hate these people. Stacy Perry, thank you for becoming a new member. You're going to enjoy it. And it's all love here. I'm not going to deal with anything else, but I love my bedtime hate stories that I get from people. It's interesting. NK was into a bunch of dark, kinky stuff, and that's what he saw in her. From what I hear, Chris Watts was as well. I don't think Shanann was focused on that. She was focused on the kids. She was focused on her health. And, you're in a relationship for 8 years, and you're not thinking about that all the time. You're lucky if you get to think about that when you do. So that's what he wanted. And, no downplaying anybody, but when you're doing that with someone's husband and the family gets wiped out, then we're going to call you out.
oh, she's finally allowed to talk more. Right, the officer's been filling in, plugging in all the words so far. Here she says, murder was not even at the top of my mind. What does that mean? That murder was on the list of possibilities.
Yes.
Right, she didn't say murder never occurred to me. It was on her list. It just wasn't at the top of her list. So what did she and Chris talk about?
Yeah, they did.
Did she know about his murderous propensity? Or did she know how much he really hated his wife? Or did he ever confide into her the things he was willing to do to be with her? Because murdering his wife was on her list. It just wasn't at the top. Now, does this mean she helped him plan it? Does it mean she asked him to kill his wife? No. And I think that this is one of the reasons why whenever I do my community polls, if you're a member, if you're subscribed to my channel, I do these community polls periodically where I take all the topics that have been requested in my comments frequently that I haven't covered, and I put them into a poll to see what you guys want me to cover next. So the one I did 3 days ago, obviously Nicole Kessinger.
Now, me too. I do that as well. So you guys get to vote. We're doing new cases. We have to do things in between Sebastian and Maddie and Sade and Elijah. I got Chad Daybell on the list, but I'm only bringing the parts that are really juicy because a lot of it's really boring and bothersome. So guess what, guys? We're going to have a poll coming up so you guys can vote on what you want. And I love that. A crime to remember. I like that the haters collect me. I love this best statement ever. I collect haters. I'm going to take that one for the books, okay? I'm starting to collect haters, and we're going to have a behind the scenes hater reading. I'm going to read the haters' comments, and we're going to laugh about them so hard, and we're going to just call them out, folks. But it will be behind the scenes members only, so it won't be, like an evil, nefarious thing. All right, let's keep going. I don't like to be evil.
Kessinger won by a mile, which is the reason I'm covering her right now and the reason I'm making this video, because I only want to make videos that my audience wants to watch. But I do notice something whenever I do my community polls, that the people who rise to the top are either missing children, or in the case of Nicole Kessinger or Amanda Knox, it's unlikable people. Or Nicola Bully, where it seems to be a conspiracy.
Yep.
And I think the reason for that is when it comes to unlikable people,
You're
in particular, unlikable women, two camps form on YouTube, right? So Nicole Kessinger is not a likable woman. Amanda Knox was not a likable woman. The McCanns aren't particularly likable. Jada Pinkett Smith is not particularly likable. And whenever I do polls that include people like that, they go to the top. And I think it's because when someone's unlikable, people get very polarized. Commentators, right? Even the people actually involved in the cases, like the prosecutors or defense attorneys, right? That doesn't, it's not limited to YouTube. So what happens is with unlikable women like Nicole Kessinger, Amanda Knox, et cetera, is you get one side saying that, hey, they're unlikable, so they must be guilty, right? I can't stand her. I can't stand the way she talks, the way she acts, how she's not even crying over these dead girls. She must be guilty. She knew something, right? She was sleeping with a married man. She's a bad woman. She had to have killed him. So you get that side. And then you get the other side, which says, hey, she's unlikable, but we're not sure if she's guilty. So we're just going to err on the side of caution and say that she's probably innocent and read everything that way, interpret it that way. Because we're not sure if she's guilty or not, we're just going to err on the side of caution, which is probably.
I would love to talk to you sometime, a crime to remember. And we could just talk in private if you don't want to have a little session. We could talk about what the cousin talked about and just jive back and forth. I love having collaborations and conversations with people, even if we're not recording. I just love to hear about it, know the backstory. I live and breathe true crime, folks. And now that I have a kid again, a daughter, I have two kids, but my daughter's 9 years old, which is the same age as Madeline Soto. And she, around the same age, she was around 8 or 9, when Maddie started getting assaulted by Stephen Stearns. I'm absolutely disgusted. So we do missing children, and I try to do missing children Fridays. If not, I'll get to it on the weekend. But man, I've been pulling episodes almost every day nowadays. So I'm doing my best to bring everything that I can.
The more reasonable approach. And I think that's what happened with the McCanns as well, right? People weren't sure if they were guilty. So they erred on the side of caution. Hey, I don't want to pack more grief onto these parents who lost their daughter. Not sure if they're guilty, even though they are unlikable and kind of, their statements are kind of bizarre for parents of a missing child. But it's safer to err on the side of caution.
Of course. Absolutely.
And then you get people like me, where I don't really have a dog in this fight. I'm not analyzing whether or not Nicole Kessinger is a nice person. Frankly, I don't particularly care. Right? Just like Amanda Knox, I don't care if she's likable or not. I'm just listening to her statements. But if I am convinced that she is hiding something and that she's a liar, I'm not afraid to be strict with her and to point it out. So I'm not afraid about erring on the side of caution. I'd rather point out that someone's a liar because I see deception in their words than accuse them of something just because they're unlikable, or err on the side of caution just because I'm not 100% sure if they're guilty. And Nicole Kessinger reminds me a lot of Amanda Knox. I don't see the signs of someone who killed a guy's family. I don't think she was involved.
I think I have Friday booked, Sadie's mama, but I have something really big for you. For all the people that, and I have to stop for a second and tell you, I have Sadie Robinson booked for Friday. I have the whole day free. Guess what? I have an interview with the ex-roommate. Finally, you're going to hear from her own words about Madeline Soto, Stephen Stearns, Jennifer Soto. She lived with them when they started dating. We did an episode before this. It's called Jennifer Soto's Ex-Roommate. We're going to do a pre-record in the morning, and then you guys have to decide for me if I should do a live with the pre-record. Do you guys want to listen to the pre-record and talk to me, or do you want me to just release the video and let you guys go to town? Let me know what you want to do. I have that interview on Friday. Then we're doing Sade Robinson on Friday. And then if you want, I could bring Elijah Fu that night. So we could do missing children Fridays. That'll be 3 episodes, or yeah, that'll be 3 things in one day. Interrogation. I'm sorry, not interrogation. An interview. Call it interrogation. Interview with the ex-roommate with new questions. That's a big deal, guys. We have new questions for the ex-roommate, and she's gonna talk. You're gonna hear her voice, She doesn't want to show her face because her wife will be upset with her, and she has 4 children. Remember, I told you that Jennifer Soto is bisexual. Well, her roommate is more than bisexual. She's gay, lesbian, and she's got lots more answers for you. So I guess I'll do a live with the pre-record, and I'll let you know as soon as I do the interview when that's going to happen.
Involved in the murder, because she hasn't leaked anything along
Oh my God, babe.
those lines. She's not acting like she knows anything. She's being as candid as she can until it comes to her communications with Chris. That's why this cell phone part, I believe, if you look at the stats on this video, which has 253,000 views, there's a couple spikes. And one of them is right here when it comes to the cell phone. And the reason she might be cagey about the cell phone data and how they communicated, why I think she's lying about it, could be one of a number of reasons. So I'm going to go through those right now. So this is the final card in the deception deck that we will look at today. And it is assessing motivations. So it is in the hearts, the concept suit.
I thought she had you. Hold on. I know you guys can hear me, folks. I promise I'm going to do a live. All right. My daughter has pieces. She's got, I don't know if she wants to show her face.
I do.
Okay, so she's going to show her face, and she doesn't look like her normal self, so she's in disguise right now. Okay? This is my daughter being in disguise. All right, this is Reese. This is Pieces.
My name is Ben Clover
Her name is Ben Clover Cloves, folks. So we've got Pieces and Ben Clover Cloves. She's in disguise with a mustache and eyebrows, so it's not really a she. His name is Ben. Okay, now he's gonna get off camera.
I'm really comfortable.
All right, now we've got Reese's, Pieces, and Ben. All right, we're only gonna do this on members' lives from now on, okay? Because I don't want people seeing you. Get out of here. Bye. Love you. All right, guys. Sorry. Hope that didn't bother
The
you.
deception deck. And I'll just read you what I have on the card. So first of all, I have a quote from Albert Einstein: imagination is more important than knowledge. And here's the rule. Here's the concept. When analyzing statements, it's important to consider why the individual might be lying, as there are numerous motivations beyond guilt. To discern a subject's reasons for deception, put yourself in their shoes and consider protection. Could they be safeguarding something such as an investment, a relative, or even their pride? 2, avoidance. Are they attempting to evade negative outcomes like shame, jail, or retaliation?
Well, we know our family is not shameful, folks. So I did tell Ben that he could not go on camera without a disguise. And so he told me that he would put a mustache and glasses on. I didn't expect that. So from now on, unless we're doing a members only, Ben's not allowed to be on here. But that was pretty funny. I just could not.
3, gain. Might they be seeking benefits, including attention, financial gain, or closure? And then other. Could they be influenced by other factors such as activism, psychological issues, or a simple mistake? This framework helps in understanding the diverse motivations that can drive an individual to lie. So we need to continue analyzing Nicole Kessinger's interview with the police to figure out what exactly she is trying to hide. And there's a lot more to this interview, and there's a lot more spikes if you look at the analytics on this video. So if you guys want me to do a part 2 of this, I think some of those spikes include her talking about her opinions on Chris's family, which I think will be very revealing. Other things she might be hiding, as well as the day that Chris killed his family, what she was doing. And I think analyzing those things will get us closer to understanding if she's actually hiding guilty knowledge, or actual involvement or assistance in helping Chris plan something. But right now, we can't discount any of these other reasons for lying. She could just be cagey about the phone data because it's embarrassing, or because she's ashamed that she was cheating with a married man, or even that she's ashamed that she was duped, right? That he tricked her and she's embarrassed about it. So we're not going to give her the full benefit of the doubt because she deleted the data and we noticed deception here. So we're still going to go hard at her.
we're going to go really hard at her, and we have more episodes for you about that. We're going to have so many more episodes. I am so addicted to Deception Detective. I've watched all 5 of his interrogation videos. They're all named something different. I can't even stop laughing right now. Oh my God. Yes, she did what I asked, and like I'm crying because it's so funny. Like my family is ridiculously fun like that. I told her no, unless she unless she was in disguise, and that was what she gave me. All right, let's keep going. Threw me off.
But we also need to be careful about saying, hey, she's lying because she's guilty, because that's not a conclusion we can make at this point. Right? We've only analyzed like 10 minutes of this interview with her. I know very little about her, as I said. I know more about the Chris Watts case because there was that Netflix documentary a while back. All right, so let me know your thoughts about Nicole Kessinger in the comments. Also, let me know which part you want me to analyze next in this. I think her
Actually, if
talking
they
about-
just like had some sort of like heated conversation.
All right, guys, we're not done. I have 98 people, and it fluctuates between 98 and 100, and I wouldn't care if I had 2 people ask Miracle Hearts, ask Sadie's mama, ask the Day Oneers. I sat here and talked to one person sometimes, Juror 13. I talked to myself half the time, and yeah, my daughter is precious. And Crime to Remember, congratulations for having such a successful son and kid. I am a proud mama always, and I always will be. Yeah, it is good to see love. I love love, and I can't even fathom anything else. Thank you. I've got 10 minutes worth of videos. Would you like 10 minutes worth of text messages between Nicole and Chris? Would you like me to read those for you? All right, let's finish this, and then I will.
It's like, okay, you guys are.
All right, I think her talking about his family is going to be interesting, and her talking about the day of would be interesting to look at. So let me know if you are more familiar with Nicole. I know lots of you are. Which part
We are Deception Detective. We are. And I still got video number 2 and number 3. I've already did number 4 and number 5. So he just made a new one recently, and I did that. I'm addicted to these. I've watched them over and over. My guilty pleasures.
should look at next. And if you do want a part 2, the way I judge if I'm going to continue a series is how many views the video gets, how many likes it gets, how many comments it gets. And then that tells me, hey, I should continue this series, which is why
All right.
I've done so many McCann's videos, because whenever I do those, they get a lot of views, a lot of view time, excellent comments, and lots of likes, right? So all the analytics add up. So I know Nicole was heavily voted for. I am intrigued with the case, but like I always do, if the video doesn't get enough views, we'll drop it. We'll move on to something else. Until next time, stay true.
Folks, stop sharing this. Close out of that. You guys asked for it, and I'm going to do it. So, everybody, please smash that like button as we do this. I'm not just going to play the text messages. I actually have to read them. Go figure. I got to read all day after I worked. Man, just kidding. I love you guys. I love talking. I think I just like hearing myself talk. Hi, Kimmy Dawn. What's up? Thank you, Pain. I just started watching the show. Has anyone ever told you you could be Beth Chapman, the bounty hunter twin? Nobody's ever told me that. I hope she's pretty. Who's Beth Chapman? I'm going to have to look that up now. All right. Somebody tell me who Beth Chapman is. Is she beautiful? Is Beth Chapman beautiful? I hope so. All right. Hit that like button in between. I'm going to stay true to you, myself, my family, and the one and only above, the man, the woman, the person, the spiritual being. All right, whatever you want to call it. I believe in a higher power, folks. And yeah, we're going to listen to this. All right. I'm giving Zab Girl full credit. I asked her. She said yes, no problem. If you guys know who Zab is, you probably should know who Zab is. That's kind of where I started out, was on Zab's channel. She brought me up on her panel a couple of times, and I was getting ready to start a channel, and then I got on her channel, and guess what? Here we are, folks. Here we are, and here's Zab Girl. So if I have to read them, I will. I don't think that she read them. I think it's just reading. So, and Beth Chapman was one babe, ace babe. Oh, she did pass away. I forgot. I know who you're talking about now. Yes, I'm a rough and rugged mama, but I'm a teddy bear inside. I really am. Ask Carly. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Because my daughter's waiting for me. Lower the volume. All right, I'm going to pause it for a second since I'm late. I'm going to tell you what it says real quick, and then I will. That's where you found me on Zav Girl, and thank God you found me, Carly, because you are the best mod and the best person. I don't want to offend anyone. And Bree, I love you too. I'm glad you're my mod. You do so much for me. It's not even funny. I don't even feel like I deserve it. All right, let's go. Let me read this real quick. So this is CBI. All right. Let me know if you can hear me. Using Cellbrite at CBI, the phone was unable to be downloaded. Now we're talking about Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger's complete phone activity and text messages from the discovery files. Zap Girl is always thorough, and that's why she has 100,000 followers, okay? Nicole did send me text messages of the recovered text between her and Chris Watts. The recovered text messages are from Watts' phone number, and it's blanked out. No messages were recovered between Nicole and Watts, their business numbers. The recovered messages are as follows. Here we go, guys, ladies, people, game on. All right, let's go. And Bree, you're amazing. If I don't tell you enough, you do way too much for me. I don't even feel like I deserve it. I don't know why you do, but thank you. All right, both of you do, Carly and Bree. All right, let's go. Also Jessica, which is not here today. I wore purple for her. All right. Chris Watts on the left, Kessinger on the right. I'm going to do my best here. Promise. I'm about loyalty, truthfulness, and being dedicated. I don't like playing games unless it's role playing. Oh, let me do this. Let me slow it down. Hold on. I can't read that fast, guys. So I have to, I'm going to try it at this and then go back. All right, let's go. Chris Watts on the left. Kessinger is on the right. Now, it could be backwards, so once we figure it out, we'll get into it. All right. This is all reading. Promise. I'm about loyalty, truthfulness, and being dedicated. I don't like playing games unless it's role playing. If you want me there, I'll be there. Ice cream, cookies, and lollipops. Sounds like a cheat meal to me. That's Chris Watts. Remember, he was always on a diet, folks. I'm still going to see you. It won't be as often as we'd like, but I will make it happen. You think you're the only one addicted right now? I'm so hooked on you. Let me pause it because that background noise is killing me. I can't listen to that, guys. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love Carly, Jess, and Bree too. Real loyalist, yeah. All right, good. I can see the size of it, and I'm reading it to you, so I can't interact with you right now, but I got Carly and Bree here. All right, and I do miss Jess today. I don't know where she is. So Chris is talking about being dedicated and addicted at the same time, all right? Sleeping without your warm body next to me isn't going to be fun tonight. Maybe. Okay, now Nicole says, I have an idea, by the way. I have a free hotel stay at the Holiday Inn. Not sure if you can swing it this month, but we can road trip to the mountains or southern Colorado for a few days, a day or two if you want. Won't cost a dime. Remember, Chris Watts was always budgeting because of his wife, and he couldn't open his credit card or use it freely. Then Nicole says she supports me. Oh, no, this must be Chris. She supports me, but her parents were in a situation like that when she was a kid, and it came up. It won't bother me. I'm not going to stop seeing you. Okay, so this is Chris. I'm sorry if I confused you. Now they're talking to each other. Are we bad people? And Then this must be Chris. I'd love to be a part of it. Being in your life is something I crave. Conserve it while you. Okay, so now we see it. I was confused. This is Nikki. All right, let's stop for a second. Let's do it this way. Nikki is in red and Chris Watts is in blue. Okay, so red for girls, blue for boys. All right. You want to be a mod someday when you get your crap today. Yeah, if you gotta, Melissa, we gotta talk about that. Melissa needs help. We need to know what help she needs. She just doesn't have a house right now and she needs resources. She needs to tell me where she lives and what she needs so you guys can help direct me to the help that she needs. All right. Yeah, barf. Being homeless sucks. I will help you. You just got to tell me what you need and where you are. All right. Nikki is in red. Chris Watts is in blue. I'm going to go back because I was confused. All right. This is Chris Watts. He has a free hotel stay. Let's go one more time. Chris says, I have an idea. I have a free hotel stay at the Holiday Inn. Not sure if we can swing it this month, but we can road trip to the mountains or southern Colorado for a day or two if you want. Won't cost a dime. LOL. Remember, look at the dates here. June 30th, 2018 at 6:39 p.m. Chris is saying she supports me, but her parents were in a situation like that when she was a kid, meaning separation, and it came up. It won't bother me. I'm not going to stop seeing you. I made up my mind. Are we bad people? Then Nicole NK says, I'd love to be a part of it. Being in your life is something I crave. Conserve it while you can. I enjoyed our conversation tonight. I hope you have a great night. Sweet dreams, Nikki. Now, when we go back to the interrogation that happened, she didn't lead the police to believe any of this. She made it seem like it was casual, okay? Now she says, I'm getting drenched right now. LOL. Like to see you all wet in the rain. Barf. Nicole says, my signal sucks. I'm sorry. Wait. That went too fast. She says, I'm getting drenched. And then she says, my signal sucks so bad here. It might take a while to download your... It goes really quick. I still didn't see it. Download your what? What happened? Download, it probably says download your pictures, okay? And then she says, I had a protein shake before I left. I thought there would be more here. I'm resisting the funnel cakes and the tater twists. I'm in stop traffic to 112. Lots of people here. Just pulled up to your place. Wait, what? Isn't this Nicole? She pulled up to Chris Watts' place? All right. Then Chris says, you're so considerate. I'm going to pause it for a second, so make sure that you guys are all good in chat. All right. Thank you for being here with me. I'm doing the best I can. I've seen these before in my quiet time. It's been a while. This was years ago. This was in 2018. It's July 9th, 2018. Unbelievable that NK pulled up to Chris Watts' place. I didn't even realize that. He says, you're so considerate. Why was she going to his house? This must have been the time frame, folks, this had to have been the time frame when Shanann was out of town with her family. So, okay, let's keep going. I'm doing my best here. You're so considerate, Chris says. I hope it's 2:30. You need some rest. Now, this is July 17th, 2018 at 2:20 p.m. There it is. Yes, you deserve a pay increase for everything you're doing. Your plate is only getting fuller because people know what you can do. They need to compensate you now rather than later. This is Nicole to Chris. She also says Rocky's game didn't end until 10:20. Good thing you left early. You would have been there a while. Hope you had a great night. Beautiful. Miss you. Get home safe. Sweet dreams, my sexy empanada. Wait, Nicole's calling him beautiful? Interesting. Am I reading something wrong? Oh, let's go back. I don't think so. All right. But it goes quick. Sometimes it goes quick. This is not. I'm going to pause it on this. And he said, okay, let me check with you guys. Are we all good? Yeah, Davey's not here today. Neither is Coach Complete. Neither is Deception Detective. I hope I did them justice here. All right, you guys are reading it with me. These feel like creep texting this broad while your little girls are at a kid's party, right? She is way more culpable than she led on to when we just watched. And that's why I had to show these, because she's an absolute liar, everybody. That is not what she was telling the cops. All right, let's keep going. This is disgusting. Why do you call somebody an empanada? No, you can't buy scrolls. LOL, dude, the Dead Sea Scrolls are some of the oldest, most important writing in the world. Nice. That sounds like a good time. I haven't seen an IMAX in a while. Sounds like you're having a fun day with the folks. I'm still at the birthday party. Kids are soaked from the water balloons. Okay, now it's switched up because earlier the color was different. So this is a birthday party, and it must be Chris at the kids' birthday parties, and he's texting his mistress on 8/12/2018. This has got to be when he went and visited. Wait, I got to go back. All right. Yeah, this is Chris now. So it went from red to blue. So we'll just keep up with each other, okay? I'm trying not to confuse myself. Chris says he's been pounding fruit and had a whole jar of asparagus. Remember, he was on a weight loss journey when Shanann got those Thrive patches. She had him wear the patches, and he was always doing push-ups, and he was obsessed with his body. He didn't smoke any at the barbecue this time. He did hot dogs, and so I did the fruit thing, been pounding fruit, and had a whole jar of asparagus. Okay, he didn't smoke any. He did hot dogs, so I did the fruit and veggies. Okay, I get this. I'm kind of glad Zab didn't read these. That way I was able to. Thank you again, Zab girl. Go subscribe. Oh my God, this is absolutely ridiculous. They would freak out. This conversation, Chris is with his wife and kids, and he's talking to his mistress. What did Kessinger say for Chris to respond? So there was a missing text. Oh my God, that's absolutely ridiculous. And look at the date, 8/13/18. This is the day they went missing, when Kessinger said Chris didn't tell her they were missing till around 4. Wow. Wow. Does that bring any clarity to anything? So that text message was missing. Whatever it is that she said to him, this is the day before. No, this is the day of the murders, is what she's saying. The day before. They wonder what they said. I wonder what she said to him. She's a snake. Yeah, she hisses when she walks. That is such a weird thing to say. And then that was gone. That text message was gone, folks. Chris Watts is the empanada forever. What does that even mean? I know what an empanada is. Why would you say that? And yes, her phone pinged there that morning. Yes, it did. All right, let's keep going. Zab, you did great on this. Jesus. Mary and Joseph. All right. My God, absolutely ridiculous. They would freak out. Yeah, I wonder what she did say. Anybody have any guesses? Discovery files. Chris Watts and Kessinger's phone activity. Let's see how far we are. We've got 6 more minutes, guys. Okay, Kessinger personal phone, Cellbrite report. This device is an Apple phone. It gives you the serial number. And there were 34,527 timeline entries, 8,428 images, 166 contacts, 820 images, 12 audio recordings, SMS messages, 400 MMS, and 206 entries. The device is devoid of any calls, messages, photographs, or videos involving Watts. There's no listing for Watts. Jesus. Okay, September 1st, 2017, everybody. September 1st, 2017, Kessinger searched the internet for the name Shanann Watts. This is 2 years before this happened, or I'm sorry, at least a year. I'm sorry, I got my timeline wrong. And Joyce, all right, let me pause it real quick. Kessinger called Watts and held nearly 2-minute conversation, the first call between the two found on the phone, July 7th, 2018. All of this stuff was deleted. Joyce Batista just sent me $10 on Cash App. Thank you so much, Joyce. I know you. I see you. That's all I got to say. I love you, Joyce. And you have my heart personally. I know you know what I'm talking about. So thank you. All right, let's keep going. I'm not watching chat, so I can't while I'm reading. But they barely texted according to her. You're right. That's because she deleted everything. Well, on one call today, she messaged him that she wanted to prove that he was at service through 9. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Joyce. All right, let's keep going. 2-minute conversation, July 14th, 2018. Kessinger Watts visited the Mustang Museum in Boulder together. Kessinger called Watts and held a nearly 5-minute conversation. All right, we're leading up to the family annihilation. Kessinger called Watts nearly 5 minutes. That's all they know. So 45-minute conversation. During that call and afterwards, Shanann made 4 more unanswered calls to Chris Watts, guys. So while they were talking, Shanann was calling Chris and he didn't answer the phone. All right, July 21st, 2018. Watts and Kessinger went to Bandamere and the Rooftop Tavern in Morrison. I think Bandamere, was that when they went boarding in the sand or something? I don't know what that is. Kessinger searched Google for man I'm having an affair with says he will leave his wife. She wasn't that into him. She wasn't taking it seriously. This is my birthday, July 25th, 2018. Shanann calls Watts and held a 23-minute conversation. During the conversation, Kessinger called Watts, left a voicemail following an eerie, disconcerting, childlike giggle. She told Watts, I miss your face. I was calling to say hi. Call me back. Bye. Immediately after the call ended, Shanann Watts called Kessinger briefly. Wow. Insane. This stuff. Let me hold on real quick. All right. I hope you're all following this. And you say Bandamere. Bandamere is a raceway. Okay. Kessinger called Watts and held a 14-minute conversation. But she didn't call him that much, and she wasn't that into him, and she wasn't thinking about marriage. Day after, July 26, 2018. Kessinger calls Watts and held a 3-minute conversation. 05:30 hours. I think that, what time would that be? I'm not good with military time. July 28th. There's so many deleted messages. Watts and Kessinger spent the night. Okay, this was at the Great Sand Dunes. How did Watts get away spending the night? Was that when his wife was out of town? It had to have been. Right. Among the videos is Kessinger speaking into the camera. Thank you so much for coming out here with me, Christopher. I'm having a wonderful time. You mean a lot. I'm glad you're having a blast. You guys all remember that video, don't you? That was she had that childlike voice. It wasn't the childlike giggle, but it was that real weird little kid voice. I bet you they role played like she was calling him daddy. Kessinger calls Watts and left a voicemail. Intermixed with her creepy giggles, she asked Watts to call her back. August 4th, 2018. Pause it here for a second when it gets to it. Oh, all right. So I have to say, this is how not serious she was, everybody. Yeah. Satan Stern trial. I got more. There's a pre-trial coming up. Pam, let me tell you, this is Stephen Stearns. There's a trial. The trial was delayed for May 13th. There's going to be a pre-trial. I'm going to give you all that. I have an interview with the roommate on Friday, and I will give you the lowdown on everything. Yes, she is pure nasty. All right, let's go. Let's finish this up. I got 3 minutes, and then I'm out of here. But stay here because this is very good. All right. Yeah, yuck. Wow, over 2 hours she searched for wedding dresses. Kessinger searched Google for Watts and Shanann's Facebook accounts. See, she lied to the detective that she didn't have social media and that she didn't know anything. She had to have if she was looking at their accounts. All right. Kessinger searched Google on topics related to marrying your mistress. What do you think about that, people? I bet you Chris was telling her he was going to leave the wife. I think he was telling her. August 11th, 2018. In anticipation for the evening, Watts Kessinger spent 45 minutes searching Google topics how to prepare for anal guide. This progressed to searches at Pornhub for interracial porn videos and threesomes with double pen, we'll say. I don't even know how to say that without, wow. Yeah, crazy alert, crazy alert, crazy alert, okay? I wish I knew how to say that without, all right, so search for topics like Shanann, Ron. So she searched her, though, everything. She was looking up Chris, Shanann, and Ronnie. She looked up Shanann's whole family. What do you think about that, everybody? August 13, 2018. Kessinger made 2 unanswered calls to Watts. Wow. Just wow. All right. 51-minute conversation for not talking to the man. Yeah, I do believe that. When I see this stuff, I do believe that. August 14, 2018. Kessinger searched Google for Shanann Watts. Do you hear that? Should I say it again? Kessinger searched Google for Shanann Watts. She clearly lied in the interview. Watts made an unanswered call to Kessinger. She called him back seconds later, and they held a 10-minute conversation. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, Satan stain. Okay, almost done. Kessinger searched Google topics like can cops trace text messages? How long do phone companies keep text messages? Difference between text message content and text message detail. You hear that, everybody? Why is she not in jail? Should we have played this before? Kessinger searched the internet for news accounts on the incident and Shanann's name. The searches were conducted frequently by Kessinger throughout the next several days. She deleted one after. So she was looking up the case of Shanann going missing, everybody. What? Okay, thank you, 5:30 a.m. I appreciate it. I don't know if she was bipolar. Kessinger searched the internet on topics related to Amber Fry, the mistress of Scott Peterson. He unalived his wife and unborn child. Her searches included Fry's book deal, her net worth, and did people hate Amber Fry? I know you guys all heard about this, but actually seeing this for the police files and the case detective, what they had is unbelievable. It's FBI. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Okay. Thank you, Zav. Everybody, she can use 200,000 people always. I should say there's never enough followers that you can have. This is unbelievable. We're doing Watts Wednesday. This bothers me that my camera is off a little bit. Why does it bother me? All right. It bothers me. You could see one side or the other. Anywho, I love each and every one of you. Good Lord, Oil Tank. Thank you again, Joyce Batista. I love your picture. I've seen a picture of you also. I'll just say on social media, and you're beautiful, beautiful lady, beautiful soul. She's a devil in disguise. She knew what she was doing and had no business not only getting in between the marriage, but causing the demise of the family. Terms like daddy is, oh man, fantastic. She was rushing him, guys. She really was rushing him. That's why she deleted the text messages. I'm sure there was an ultimatum there. Thank you, Patricia. Please come back. Please, please, please. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Yes, Zav is doing, that's why I'm hesitant on doing the Boone case, because Zav's covering that and she's got it covered. If I do anything, I might just do a quick overview of what the case is. And then when they go to trial, give you updates. I don't know. I'm thinking about it because, there's no need when such a good creator's doing that already. We love you, Bree. Thanks for all you do. Bye, everybody. I will. On that note, should I show pieces one more time? What happened to pieces? Do you want to hand her to me? All right, guys, ladies, before you, that's not cute. Okay, here's one of my other puppies. Can I have her too? This is Bowie. this is my baby Bowie. This is my other. This is so we've got Bowie, which is my baby. They're all my babies. Okay, well I can't hold that one. I don't want you on camera though. I've got Trace right here. I've got Bowie. I've got Pieces, and I've got Wes. So on that note, I wanted you guys to see the clan. I don't know how well I can hold them and hit that button, but Reese is going to help me. I mean, Ben is going to help me. So these are my two.
Reese?
Yeah,
You're replacing me?
Leave it. No, these are my two latest in the family. I wanted to show you that. I love you all. Thank you so much. I'm going to have them in my outro. Ben, get off the camera, Ben. Ben, man, Ben wants to be a star so bad. Get out of here, Ben. There's no boys allowed in here. All right, he's throwing the peace sign, so that means we're out of here.
Guilty of crime. I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime. Are you guilty of crime?